draw.
Every kick of the ball.
It's a terrific finish.
This is Sports Sound.
It's absolutely tremendous.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Well, why wouldn't he? I mean, you know, the Dons are flying. Okay, this is the ultimate test for them at away Celtic champions. Terrible record at Celtic Park, but this is, you know, possibly a new era for Aberdeen. But they're certainly going into a cauldron today by the looks of Celtic Park. That's for sure.
Brendan Rodgers pre-match this afternoon, he was in the stand there, lots of supporters getting selfies with the big Celtic defender. What a really key player he has been for Celtic over the past few years. Seen pictures there of Jim Goodwin walking out at Tannadice. He spoke yesterday about the crowd.
You've got 4 Aberdeen players lined up on this left-hand side on the halfway line. It's not back to Graham Shinnie, played back into Clarkson, played forward early and all the way through to Kasper Schmeichel, and it doesn't quite come off, Packy, but it was an interesting start to the game from Aberdeen. What are you expecting over the course of the afternoon?
Yeah, it was like the skies pass, wasn't it?
They've just had the opening ceremony with all the Celtic scarf being shown and singing the usual song here at Celtic Park. But, you know, for me, I think hopefully Aberdeen can make a challenge of it, make a game of it. Their form this season has been very, very good. We know that. It's you know, going shoulder to shoulder with Celtic this early in the season, absolutely, but this is a huge test. There's no doubt Aberdeen have got to be at their best.
Willie, we were at half.
The 6-yard box knocked away there by Malloy at the near post, comes back out to Johnson on the right hand side. He's lost out to Clarkson, but he's won it back, and now it's Callum McGregor. Deep in Aberdeen territory early on, but Engels can't keep hold of it, and Aberdeen just knock it up towards the halfway line. Scales gets his head to it, and now it's Alec Baye in again for Greg Taylor, who's still out. That's a very strong challenge there from Graham Shinnie, catching Baye. Nothing given by the referee as Aberdeen come forward down the right hand side. Baye now just getting back to his feet, but he was really clattered into there by Shinnie.
Not half. I thought it was very late, actually, early in the game. The referee was very close to it. We were obviously over on this side, and it was up on the opposite side, but he went in and he caught Baye very, very heavily, but luckily enough the player's back up and in his position, and the game goes on.
Yeah, it didn't look to take an awful lot of the ball from our vantage point, Packy, but as you say, Nick Walsh in a good position, and perhaps he saw something we didn't, and the game does continue down the right hand side. Aberdeen come a couple of minutes in, they've got a throw in midway inside their own half, but I think you can already see, Packy, they're not here just to sit in. They are going to come out and play the way that Jimmy Tilley clearly wants them to, which is on the front foot for the most part.
Absolutely. There's a ball played over the top for Kevin Nisbet. He's got a big role for Aberdeen today. If he plays as that sort of lone striker to hold the ball up, to run the channels. That time the ball's played behind Liam Scales, and he used his body quite well, nearly got a corner out of it, but again Celtic get possession back. That tackle reminds me of the good old days when Simpson and Cooper in the middle of the pitch, when they used to put in that early tackle to let Celtic know that they were going to be in a game.
Yeah, well, let's see what kind of game this is this afternoon, because Aberdeen have clearly started the season quite brilliantly, as have Celtic. I suppose a lot of the talk has been about Aberdeen, just given that it's such a surprise almost, especially given the way they played for a lot of last season. Celtic, we're just used to seeing them knockout victory after victory, as they've done at the start of this campaign. Here's Trusty, just showed a bit too much of that to Nisbet. He gets away with it, he was fouled.
Listen, he was fouled, but Kevin Nisbet had every right to go for that ball, because you're right, it was a bad touch from Trusty, allowed Kevin Nisbet to get a little bit of an option to go for the ball. He did foul him, and again Celtic pick up possession from the foul.
Trusty making his 5th consecutive start in the continuing absence of Cameron Carter-Vickers, and you do feel that whenever Carter-Vickers is out of the Celtic first 11 that they are weaker for it. Trusty has been decent, but maybe not quite the dominant figure that Carter-Vickers is, as the ball goes out for an Aberdeen goal kick, which they take quickly. Not here to waste time either. It's down the left for McGrath. McGrath closely shadowed there by Johnston. Nielsen goes back to Mackenzie, and then Malloy hoists it forward. It's Trusty that meets it with the head on the halfway line. Nielsen collects and then leaves it to McGrath, who tries to go over the top looking for Keskinen. It's misjudged by Baye, and Keskinen will try and take the young Spaniard on, knocked out by the full-back, out of play for a throw-in over on the far side. That'll be an interesting matchup, Packy. I've liked what I've seen of Keskinen so far. Baye's obviously great pedigree coming from Barcelona, but nonetheless it'll be a test for him this afternoon.
Yeah, it will be, and you know, I did say Kevin Nisbet will be the focal point up front, but they're keeping Keskinen sort of almost high enough for him to become a threat. That's 2 or 3 times now that he's almost trying to get in behind the Celtic defence when that ball's shifted from left to right.
Looked like a foul over on the far side by Maida.
Yeah, what's interesting for Aberdeen, and you know, I did speak to Wooly about this before the game, and how the tempo of Aberdeen is up. They've taken the goal kick quickly, taken that free kick quickly, and I think that's something that maybe the manager Jimmy Tillon has added to the team to get on with the game quickly before the opposition can get into a structured organisation.
Yeah, something we saw from Celtic a lot, particularly under Ange Postecoglou, that willingness to take quick throw-ins, quick free kicks, not allow the opposition to get themselves set and prepared for what's to come. Liam Scales knocks it back to Schmeichel, who's midway inside his own half. He kind of slices it out to the right-hand side. Johnston's just managed to keep it in. Engels, though, heads it out of play on the halfway line. Throw into Aberdeen. 5.5 minutes in, and it's been a pretty even start, you would have to say.
It has, and you know, we talk about intensity in the modern game, and you know, I think top teams or good teams add that to their almost principles, that they have to play with that intensity, and it's up to players then to be able to handle all that comes with that, and that looks like maybe what you know, a Swedish manager is going to bring to the Scottish game.
Nutmeg there from Rubezic on Maida, which is certainly, if that's what Jimmy Tillion's encouraging, it was going to be an interesting afternoon, but Aberdeen have it, and they play it long up towards McGrath. McGrath was backing in, I think, according to the referee there. It's a foul given.
Yeah, I think it was a foul. Obviously they've gone long on a couple of occasions now, Aberdeen, also checking out Celtic's defenders, Scales and Trust. Both of them have been away international duty, especially Trusty, who's gone out to America and played against Mexico. It's a long travel in those legs, so they're checking them out early on in this game too, which is wise.
Aberdeen winning it back in the middle of the park. It's Nielsen finding McGrath, back with Mackenzie just inside the Celtic half. Shinnie now back to Malloy. Malloy will go back to Dimitar Mitov, who's had a good start to his Aberdeen career, one of the key signings, it seems like, for this reinvigorated Aberdeen side. Mackenzie forward, and Johnston just bundling him off the ball, and no free kick given. Mackenzie's adamant it should have been, but Johnston just using his strength there against the full back.
Yeah, he was lucky. It could have been a free kick. You know, he's used his body physically to knock him off the ball, but I'm not sure if he got any contact on the ball, whether that's allowed in the game, but the referee seen differently and let them play on. 7.5 minutes played. There is Celtic 0, Aberdeen 0, as Celtic look to build down the left-hand side. It's Baye for Maida. Now on to Baye again, midway inside the Aberdeen half, back the way to Hatate. Hatate will come back to the halfway line to Scales. Yeah, so they're trying to slow it down, getting a couple of passes in, just to get a bit more control in the game they haven't had so far.
Still have it on the halfway line, but Aberdeen making life difficult for them, playing a good pressing game up high. It's out to Nicholas Kuhn, who got that winner against Ross County to preserve the 100% record. Good ball to the back post, and it's knocked behind on a corner kick by Nicky Devlin as Maida was arriving.
Yeah, it was an enticing cross, wasn't it? Lovely. clipped up to the back post from this outside right position, and Maeda coming in with real pace. Good defending from Nicky Devlin though at that back post, and that's where, from a goalkeeper's perspective, that's where you want your full-backs to be really switched on.
Engels plays the corner kick from the left-hand side, short back to McGregor, and now it's with Hatate. Back to the left to McGregor, and now again it's Engels, about 10 yards from the byline. Shifts it onto the right foot, his cross is blocked by McGrath. Engels just tries to see it out for a throw-in. McGrath making life difficult for him. It is a throw-in though to Celtic. Almost 9 on the clock, no goals as yet. We'll keep you up to date with other goals that go in around the top flight as well as Celtic come forward. Baye on the byline. Tries to swing it in, but it's swung out of play actually, and it will be an Aberdeen goal kick. I mean, Aberdeen are on this tremendous run. They've won all 13 games this season, including all 7 in the Premiership. The last one, their first 8 back in 2015, 2016, the last side to do that, surprisingly enough. Celtic are in the same position. Robbie Muirhead has put Ayr 1-0 up against Livingston as Celtic pick up possession in the middle of the park. Engels wants some options, not forthcoming. Livingston, I beg your pardon, have gone a goal to the good against Ayr United, losing track of where Robbie Muirhead plays these days. As Celtic come forward through Maeda down the left-hand side. Good challenge from Devlin, and he's caught by the subsequent tackle, and it will be a free kick to Aberdeen just outside their own penalty area on the right-hand side. 10 minutes played, and still goalless here at Celtic Park. Celtic have been pretty flawless at the start of this campaign, Packy. Obviously the heavy defeat against Borussia Dortmund is the one flying the ointment, but otherwise the performances for the most part have been pretty excellent.
Yeah, I think away to Ross County they were a little bit flat. I thought there was too many extra touches when they could have played maybe off their second touch. There was an extra touch and allowed sort of Ross County to get back into position. The players, they worked really hard, and Celtic struggled in that early period, good period of the game actually, to break down Ross County, and that I think they want to play with a higher tempo and to say keep that ball flowing.
Trusty gets his head to the ball forward. McGrath picks up and knocks it back to Nielsen out to the left-hand side for McKenzie. McKenzie back in field for Nielsen, who's another player who's impressed since he's come into the club. Back from Malloy to Rubizic and all the way back to Mitov, who's just on the edge of his area. He plays it out first time to Malloy. Now left-hand side, Clarkson's come deep to collect. He's forced back the way also to Malloy. And now Mitov once more. Mitov, as I say, has been pretty impressive, although I did see when he covered himself in glory at Hearts. I think it was the Hearts goal to go 2-1 in the last game, but otherwise it looks like a good acquisition.
Yeah, sorry Al for cutting across you. Just looking at Aberdeen, they've played the ball around at the back a little bit, very quick on their goal kicks, knocked it around, waiting for it to almost suck Celtic in. And then they've gone direct very quickly down the channels.
Here's Hatate looking to play the ball forward for Engels. He's must have taken a nick because Mitov dashed to try and keep it in. Now he's given up to Engels, who curls it off the crossbar. Oh, it's audacious from Engels as he tried to find the keeper off his line. Mitov was backpedaling furiously, and it just came off the top of the crossbar. Brilliant effort from Engels from the left-hand side, but Mitov putting himself in trouble and almost paying the ultimate price, but it does remain Celtic 0, Aberdeen 0.
Yeah, listen, from a goalkeeper's perspective, he was trying to do the right thing, and obviously took a little nick off one of the defenders, and he was trying to save the corner. Then he can almost kept it and slipped, and then allowed Engels to get on. He could have easily given away the penalty too if he panicked, but then he was so far out of his goal on the right-hand side that he was scrambling to get back, and Engels then plays a brilliant ball almost way to the back post, and I think if it was a couple of inches lower it was in the back of the net, but difficult to blame the goalkeeper only because he slipped at that critical moment, but trying to do the right thing, nearly got caught out.
Yeah, he did that. I'm pretty sure that's what Engels was trying. I don't think he was trying to pick out a man at the back post. I think he had gone for the shot. He's got that in his locker, you would imagine. He's a brilliant technical player, the young Belgian. He was representing his country again during the week. Came on in the defeat by France on Monday, and he's made a good start to his Celtic career, and he looks a top player and a lot of potential there as well for him to continue to improve, and almost pulling a fabulous goal out the bag in the early stages. The closest we've come to a goal, but none as yet, as Scales fires it out to the left-hand side, finds Myra. Back goes Keskinen with him on that left touchline. Back to McGregor. McGregor will have had a bit more of a rest than he's been used to having during the international break of late. Just trying to keep that body ticking over as Baye gets into the box, cuts it back. Engels just wide, plays it into the ground and just wide of the left-hand post. That time he didn't probably quite catch it as he would have wanted to, and the ball bounced wide of Mitov's left-hand post, but Celtic on a couple of occasions now coming close, still 0-0.
Yeah, big chance for him, and it was really good play down the left-hand side. Maeda coming inside, taking Nicky Devlin out of that sort of almost right back position, creating the space for Baye to get forward, and then cuts it back brilliantly. Here's a chance for Aberdeen on the counter. I think I'll come
down
back
the
to
right-hand side, Keskinen up to the corner flag on that right flank, looking for options to try and cut it back. It was easily read though by McGregor, and Celtic mop things up.
Yeah, just going back to the chance from Celtic's perspective, it comes to Engels on a brilliant position right in the middle of the goal, about 16 yards out, and he almost hits the ball into the ground and scaffs a shot wide when he really, with his technique, if he hit the target there, the goalkeeper would have to come up with a big save.
Engels finds Maeda left-hand side. It's just behind Kyogo. McKenzie not taking any chances. Celtic just getting up a bit of a head of steam right now. They've got a corner here, Packy.
Yeah, well, it's going from end to end, isn't it? You know, Aberdeen on the counter-attack initially, and then it breaks down and Celtic building through the thirds of the pitch and getting into a really good position again, high up the pitch, and winning a corner. So yeah, the spaces are there for Celtic to exploit at times, because Aberdeen are really putting them under pressure across midfield, but those spaces, Celtic got the ability to go and exploit them.
Engels from the right-hand side this time with the corner kick. We've played a quarter of an hour at Celtic Park, no goals. As Engels though tries to create one, headed away by Nielsen, out for a throw-in on this near side, midway inside the Aberdeen half, right-hand side. Engels will just take it quickly for McGregor. McGregor 15 yards inside Aberdeen territory, goes back the way to the American international trustee, who, as Packy said, came on in the friendly against Mexico. And now it's Scales. Scales forward, trying to find Baye, who's on the stretch there, couldn't bring it under control. Devlin now has it on the right-hand side for Aberdeen. Tries to fire it into Nisbet. Nisbet manages to nod it back to Clarkson, tries to find Nisbet with a return ball, but Scales in the way.
Yeah, but it was brilliant play from Nisbet. You know, again, a long ball up to him. He controls it with his head brilliantly into the path of Clarkson, who then tries to put him through, and only for a good interception by Scales. This game is going from end to end. It's a really interesting start to it. I've got to admit that I've enjoyed the start. We're what is it, 16 minutes in, and it's gone from end to end.
Celtic have it on the halfway line. Scales to Trusty, and now Johnston, who sat out the international games this time, just trying to let a back issue rest. He's back in the Celtic starting lineup, having got the equaliser up in Dingle. Here's Kuhn, the man who scored the second, dancing into the box, looking to find room for the shot, blocked in the end by McKenzie. Comes out there at the edge of the box, and Kuhn tries his luck, that's blocked as well. Celtic though looking to still try and find an opening. Hatate clips it to Johnson, and now it's Engels inside the box, fires it across the 6-yard box, and it's all the way wide and behind for a goal kick. It was a dangerous looking ball from Engels, but no one could get on the end of it. And so after just over 17 minutes, it's Celtic 0, Aberdeen 0.
Yeah, it was between a shot and a cross, and he got too much on it for people to get in. You know, other players that get in on the end of it, and it goes wide of the right hand post. But again, good from Celtic. Really good play from Scales initially, stepping in from his full centre half position into midfield to intercept the ball and set Celtic up on the attack.
Hearts have gone ahead through Kenneth Vargas, and St Johnston are also in front. Kimpioka is the man who has got their opening goal. So St Johnston 1, Ross County 0, Hearts 1, St Mirren 0. Good start there for Neil Critchley, despite Michael Stewart's scepticism about his appointment, which I think, to be fair, is shared by a number of Hearts fans. But we'll see how it all pans out for them. Aberdeen caught offside there. Jack McKenzie going forward too early. No goals here at Celtic Park in the opening stages, but Celtic, it feels, maybe just beginning to dominate slightly as Kuhn comes forward now down the right-hand side. Back goes McGrath, but Johnston is forward of him and blocked behind there by Malloy. There'll be another Celtic corner right-hand side. Still looking for the opening goal. Engels will have another corner kick here to take from the right flank. Takes it short into Kuhn and gets it back. Engels on the right-hand side, plays it short to Kuhn once more. Back to McGregor on the angle of the box. Now it's square to Hatate, 30 yards from goal, just looking for a yard of space to get the shot off. It's blocked brilliantly by the head of Rubizic. Wow, that really rocked him back the way he's managed to stay on his feet, because he's got more defending to do here as Celtic come again. McGregor for Hatate, right-hand side, right at the goal line, tries to cut that one back. Again, it's Rubizic in the way. Now McKenzie just lifts it forward. There's no Aberdeen player up there. Now they're being hemmed in by Aberdeen, but a brilliant block from Rubizic, because I think that shot from Hatate was certainly looking like it was going to be on target.
Yeah, Celtic take the corner short, and they work it really well to create that space for Hatate on the edge of the box. He was closed down initially, and he just dropped the shoulder and stepped to his right, and then let go, and Rubizic got his head on it, and he didn't go down, which shows you got a bit of strength about him, hasn't he?
Yeah, not everyone would have put their head in the way of that shot. I can tell you it was a thunderbolt from Hatate from distance, but Rubizic stood up and made the crucial block, meaning that Mitov didn't have to worry about it. Here's McGregor though, hoping to give him something to worry about from 25 yards, just over the top from McGregor. Well, he has certainly been a threat in front of goal this season, Callum McGregor. 4 goals in his last 6 in the league, and it was his shot that was diverted on target by Johnson. Now Rubizic is just calling for maybe a moment or two. He's just twisting the neck slightly, because I mean, it's completely understandable. He's telling the referee actually he doesn't need any treatment as such. He just wanted a moment or two to compose himself.
No, I think it was such a brilliant strike with pace and power that he obviously, he's down now on the ground, and yeah, I could see that coming, because he stayed up, he was brave, and he carried on with the game. But just now, when there's a lull in the game, he's just wanting to get a little bit of treatment. But Celtic again playing through the middle this time, breaking the lines. McGregor getting into a great position, dropping the shoulder and beating Shinnie, and easily then, and that shot of his, I think if it was on target, the goalkeeper would have been in trouble, because but it was just about a yard over the crossbar. But really good play again from Celtic.
Yeah, McGregor's definitely added that back to his game. He was such a goal threat in his earlier career, when he maybe played in a slightly more advanced position, and maybe just that little surge of energy that he gets from not playing as many games, with the Scotland games crossed off his calendar now. Yeah,
but you know, as midfielders, defensive midfielders, you can't get beaten that easily. You know, now listen, he showed great ability to go and drop a shoulder and beat Shinnie quite easily, but you would be expecting of a goalkeeper, midfielders, to make sure that he doesn't get into those positions, to be able to pull the trigger, and that's just about getting your balance right, getting your position right, and making sure that you don't commit yourself to that type of situation.
Rubizic jogs off the pitch, and he'll be jogging back onto it just in a moment, once play resumes. The big Montenegrin, as Mitov prepares to take the goal kick. No goals after, well, just at the midway point actually of the first period, and Aberdeen certainly showing positive signs, but Celtic probably had more of a goal threat, and Engels coming closest to a goal so far, clipping the top of the crossbar with an audacious effort from the left-hand side.
Yeah, I think the second one was probably the best chance of all.
Yeah, probably.
The cutback. Yeah. You know, the first one, he showed brilliant ability to be able to do it.
Nielsen's found Clarkson in a good area now. It's Kesker in left-hand side, tries to get it across goal. Well cut out by Trusty. Johnston was rather on his heels though, and it's been nicked back by Nisbet. McKenzie now lifts it towards the back post, away by Baye. And then Kuhn helps it on. Nielsen will pick up midway inside the Celtic half. Tries to get it back to McKenzie, but Kuhn intercepts and finds Engels, and Engels will feed it into the channel for Kyogo. Mitov was unsure as to whether to come or go. Kyogo has it, now cuts it back for Hatate! Celtic with the opening goal! Wonderful precision strike by Real Hatate! And a scintillating, clinical counter from Celtic as Engels fed Kyogo, who put it into the path of his countryman, and Hatate from the edge of the 18-yard box struck it past Vitov. It's Celtic 1, Aberdeen 0.
That was a brilliant finish, brilliant. I didn't know whether it was Maeda or Hatate was going to get in the ball when it was cut back, but it was Hatate taking responsibility, and a brilliant finish past the goalkeeper. I'm just looking at the goalkeeper's position. He was in a decent starting position. I think he's got to come and deal with that through ball. It's played down the line. I know it's wide, but I think if he makes up his mind quick enough and early enough, I think you've got to come and deal with it. Once you back off, he's then left. It almost ended up almost a 3v2 situation. And when Kyogo using his pace to get in there, get to the ball first, and then just almost again a little shuffle to create an opportunity for him to cut that ball back. But I think the goalkeeper maybe will be looking back and saying, why did I not come and try and deal with that ball?
Yeah, there was a fair bit of indecision about Mitov there. No indecision from Celtic as they went from one end to the other. It all comes from the Kuhn interception initially. Little pass to Engels, who fed it down the right to Kyogo, and then a cutback for Hatate, who did the rest.
And you know, there was a great opportunity for Aberdeen. They had the ball up on that left-hand side. I'm not sure if it was McKenzie that the ball came to, and he almost mishit the cross to the back post when Villa and Mickey Devlin was the right back high up the pitch getting in there, and he didn't get it all the way to the back post, and Villa had an easy chance to head away, and then Kuhn almost flicks it on and wins it again, and from that moment on Aberdeen was stretched.
And this is the problem, I suppose, if you do come to somewhere like Celtic Park and you don't want to sit in and you do get caught up the park, Celtic are going to punish you.
Yeah, absolutely, and that they haven't got those type of players. And you know, Hatate made up fantastic ground again as a midfielder to get himself up to the edge of the box. Maeda was there, but he was the one that took the responsibility, and then of course
United are going to go up against him.
Sorry, carry on. Yeah,
Dalby with the goal there. 1-0 here then. Reo Hatate's third goal of the season as Celtic in front, and for all, Aberdeen had started the game pretty well. They find themselves behind, and Celtic coming forward again, but Mitov will collect that before Hatate can latch onto the forward pass. Played 26 minutes, and it's the champions who are on top and heading 3 points clear of today's opponents, but plenty of time for Aberdeen to play their way back into it, albeit as I mentioned earlier, recent history very much against them. They've actually lost 34 of the last 36 here in the league. As Celtic come forward through Minor. It's a Hatate blocked by Malloy. Kyogo! Goal! Celtic have a second. Kyogo tucks it away after Malloy puts it on a plate for him. Aberdeen in a fankle at the back, and Kyogo punishes them severely. It was put right in front of him from about 10 yards out, and he just smacked it beyond Dimitar Mitov. Celtic with 2 goals in quick succession. Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0.
Yeah, they're cruising now. Celtic. It was a good finish again. You cannot give the likes of Kyogo in the middle of the box, almost about 8 yards out, that opportunity. You've got to clear your lines, and he didn't do it. But again, I'm not sure who it was out the right hand side. Was it Mickey Devlin that dived into McGregor and left that huge space down in almost a right back position for Celtic to exploit? If you're going to dive in like that, you've got to make contact with the ball. Otherwise, stay in your position, keep it nice and tight.
Well, Aberdeen, having conceded once, the last thing they wanted to do was concede a quick second, and that's precisely what they've done. Kyogo punishing the Malloy error inside his own penalty area for a 5th goal of the season. And Celtic 2 goals to the good before the half-hour mark, and well, Aberdeen have had a few drubbings here over the years. 6-0, the most recent one back in November of last year.
Yeah, and Mickey Taylor, he'll know about it, but he hasn't experienced it, and he can't give away goals. You know, Celtic, of course, will be delighted they're 2-0 up. They have created the better chances in this game. Aberdeen have sort of kind of almost been competitive without creating anything high up the pitch, but now they find themselves 2-0 down. This is a test for them.
Yeah, certainly the biggest test to face thus far. They were behind against Hearts, but 2 goals down to the champions is a different matter altogether, away from home. And Celtic will use the comfort of that 2-goal advantage just to allow the confidence to ooze through the team. It's a heavy challenge from McKenzie right through the back of Nicholas Kuhn, and he's going to get a yellow card for that. I mean, he got the ball in the end, Packy, but he comes right through the back of Nicholas Kuhn. You just can't tackle like that these days.
No, you can't, and that's about 2 or 3 now. Shinnie's had a couple. He's had one. Mickey Devlin out on the right-hand side for just and lead up to the goal, dived in. Just got to stay a little bit more on your feet and just stay compact. You don't need to dive in because you're still pressing the player on the ball. Just make him play backwards.
Yeah, Celtic looking comfortable just at the moment as Kasper Schmeichel picks up. Celtic out in Bergamo this coming week against Atalanta, the Europa League holders. That'll be another big European test, but certainly domestically at the moment they are passing every test that comes before them as Aberdeen win the throw on the near side, backed away from McKenzie to Malloy, who did make that unfortunate error from his and Aberdeen's perspective. Slides it forward for Nisbet, but Trusty quickly in to knock it back to Schmeichel. Trusty gets it back once more. Nisbet tries to close him down. Lovely little flick there from Johnston through the challenge from Nielsen, but it breaks for Clarkson, who gets it to McGrath, left-hand side. Aberdeen desperately need the next goal in the game to make it competitive once again. Here's McKenzie. Plays it to the left for Nielsen. Now Clarkson. No real way through at all for Aberdeen, and Celtic pick up possession through McGregor, and now Alex Baye coming up towards the halfway line. You're listening to Sports Sound here. The only way to listen and follow this huge match in the Scottish Premiership between the top two. Celtic leading by 2-0 with half an hour played. Hatate and Kyogo the goal scorers as Johnston ventures forward down the right hand side. Back he goes to Engels. Engels midway inside the Aberdeen half. Further back to McGregor, and infield now to Hatate. Hatate plays it square. It's kind of in between Scales and Baye. Baye will scamper out to the left to keep it in. Just inside his own half now for Maida. Maida just gets a nudge in the back there from Devlin, who's trying to keep him quiet. Easier said than done. Now Trusty back out to the right hand side for Johnston, just inside Aberdeen territory. Trusty once more.
Celtic are in control now, aren't they? They're just moving that ball, as I said, after a second touch, just getting the ball from side to side, just making Aberdeen chase across from right to left and just waiting for the moment.
Devlin makes a challenge there on Baye, breaks for Keskinen, still inside his own half. Now Rubezic, and Devlin all the way back to his keeper. Not a ball that Mitov will have enjoyed, but gets it back to Rubezic before Kyo can close him down, and now it's Nielsen just at the edge of the Aberdeen penalty area. Malloy brings it forward, takes it back from McGrath. Gavin Malloy, the young Irish defender, plays it into the feet of Nielsen, who gets turned and then plays it to Clarkson on the halfway line. Back to Nicky Devlin, out to the right hand side it goes for Keskinen, closely marked by Alex Baye. Back to Devlin once more, and now Nielsen finds Nicky Devlin, who'll come forward down that right hand side. Aberdeen looking to make some sort of impact here at the other end. Into the area it comes, away by Trusty. McGregor picks up left hand side, just knocks it away for Maida. Maida back to McGregor. When you get that through that challenge, it's nicked off him. Clarkson picks up on the edge of the box. Trusty gets a long leg to it and knocks it clear as far as McKenzie. Now it's Nielsen. Better moments here from Aberdeen as they put a bit of pressure on the Celtic backline, but back goes Kuhn to Rob McKenzie, and Celtic have it back once more. Kuhn doing some good defensive work, as he did for the breakaway that led to Celtic's opening goal, and Celtic can try and bring it forward again through Scales. Scales plays it down the left hand side, too much on the pass though for Maida, and he'll just drift out of play there on the far side. The Celtic left, Aberdeen will have the throw in. 33 played, and it's Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0, and Celtic in charge, Patrick.
Yeah, in charge with 2 goals. The game's going to settle down into almost a passing exercise from both teams at the moment, and that. But that was almost a period where everything was happening for Celtic, and they're just quite happy now. 2-0 up, keeping control of the game. Aberdeen desperate to get back into it somehow. Here's a chance.
Yeah, Kuhn finds Engels inside the penalty. He cuts it back, looking for Kyogo. Rubezic heads clear out for a throw in this near side, about 15 yards from the corner flag. Johnson takes it quickly to Kuhn. Kuhn onto the left foot on the angle of the box, tries to just dink it through. Doesn't get to a teammate though, and it's played clear up towards Nisbet, who's fouled by Scales. Aberdeen will get the free kick midway inside their own half with 11 minutes until the break. United leading Hibs by a goal to 0. Motherwell 0, Dundee 0, Hearts 1, St Mirren 0, and St Johnstone 1, Ross County 0. And in the game at the top of the championship, or between second and third, it's Ayr United 0, Livingston 1. Aberdeen take the free kick. It's Rubezic for Nielsen, midway inside his own half still, plays it forward to Nisbet. Little flick on for Clarkson, who in turn tries to find Keskinen looking to use his pace. It comes to Clarkson, big chance for Clarkson, saved on the line by Baye, who concedes the corner but prevents the goal as Aberdeen threatened for the first time. It fell fortuitously for Clarkson, but he didn't make the most of the opportunity and allowed Baye the chance to get it back just a couple of yards off the line. It will be an Aberdeen corner, could have been so much better.
Massive chance for Aberdeen, and it was one that you would expect him to a little bit more composure and finish well. He did get a pass, Schmeichel, but Baye just kept going into his defensive position and cleared his lines.
Corner kick from the right hand side by Clarkson, away by Kyogo at the near post. As far as Nielsen, who takes it down, and then the dipping volley, but it's over the top of Kasper Schmeichel's goal, and it does remain Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0.
Yeah, big moment. They'll look back on that one and say they'll rue it actually, because if they could get themselves back into this game, then they have a chance. But 2-0 down, going in at half time, they're going to be under a lot of pressure to try and pull it back. But those big moments in these games away from home at Celtic Park, you've got to take them, and that was one for young Clarkson to really make his name.
Yeah, he just seemed to lack conviction, Marky. I mean, he was in such a good position. What would have been 10 yards out by the time he took the shot? Yeah,
it was clear there was no defender around him at that point in time. Schmeichel did come out, spread himself probably, but he had time to even go round him maybe, because he went to ground, but he just tried to get it past him. He can almost sclaffed it again into the ground and allowed Baye the opportunity to get back to clear his lines.
Still 2-0 then. As we head towards the interval, Johnston penalised for a challenge there on McGrath, and an Aberdeen free kick just inside their own half, taken quickly by Mackenzie to Nielsen. Nielsen looking for options, one of them is Clarkson. It will be encouraging for Aberdeen, although there was a little bit of fortune about the way it finally broke for Clarkson. The move that actually got them through that Celtic backline might just give them a bit of encouragement.
Yeah, but the way Clarkson's playing high up the pitch, obviously, Nisbet, there's a nice little ball. He's playing up, and Keskinen on the right hand side is playing high up. Jimmy McGrath's working the shift down this sort of from a midfield to a forward position. So they have players in those areas, and they've built the game quite well at times.
Just a couple of updates to give you. Ross County are down to 10. Campbell's been sent off there, and in the championship, Partick Thistle's game against Airdrie has been delayed till just about a few minutes ago, I think. There was an injury to one of the match officials, which meant that they had to try and find a replacement, which has now occurred as far as I know, and it will be a late kick-off there, about half an hour delay at Firhill. There is a free kick to Celtic here, about 20 yards inside their own half.
Yeah, just again looking at the way that Celtic can almost structure that midfield with Baye going into a kind of inverted fullback position. Clarkson's got to go onto him, but then Hatate, he goes out onto the left side of the pitch, and that's pulling Shinnie out there, and it's leaving just one player and Nielsen sort of almost in the centre to deal with the centre of the pitch, and if Celtic just move the ball quickly, there's lots of spaces to exploit.
Maida's giving it away in a poor area, and McGrath picks up, and then he's fouled by Maida again, trying to atone for his error, and he's conceded the free kick. What's about 35 yards from goal, pretty central area.
Yeah, it's one of those where you would expect maybe a strike at goal, because I think if you can get up and dip, you know, I don't know who would be over the top of this free kick from Aberdeen's perspective, but certainly I think it's one where if you just, even if you touch it and then take on the strike, and the central also, which makes it a little bit more difficult for the goalkeeper. To which side am I going to pick up? Am I going to pick up the right or left? And that, so he set up a kind of almost a two-man wall.
Yeah, it's a fair old distance out. Clarkson standing over it. He might think about the strike at goal. He's certainly capable of testing the keeper from this kind of distance. It is Clarkson who does go for it, but it's no real taste for Kasper Schmeichel, who gathers it into his body. It bounced just before him, but he's able to clutch that one and immediately sends Celtic moving down the right-hand side. Hatate looking to get past Nielsen. There he goes to ground and then picks himself up and gets back onto the ball. It's fouled there, and Celtic will have the free kick about 15 yards in. Let's go back to the Clarkson free kick back here. I mean, he hit the target at least, but it didn't ever look like it was going to trouble Kasper.
No, it was
Schmeichel.
dipping in front of Schmeichel, and it was a half decent strike though, and not, but he's seen it all the way, and he was able to get his body right in front of the ball and pick it up. And then he hits a lovely little volley for Kuhn down this right hand side.
Here is Kuhn into the penalty area. It's cut out by Mackenzie, who just lashes it up to the halfway line. There's no Aberdeen player up near there. Scott Pittman's put Livingston 2-0 up at Somerset Park against Ayr United for third place side, looking to overtake Ayr in second position after Falkirk had lengthened their gap at the top with that 3-1 win over Accies last night. And Lyle Cameron has put Dundee 1-0 up at Firth Park against Motherwell. So goals in all the games in the top flight. Highlights, of course, tonight on BBC Scotland, 7:15, as Aberdeen try and reduce the deficit here before half-time. It's Keskinen left-hand side trying to get the better of Scales. Scales does well though, good strength, just stands up, doesn't commit himself, and eventually wins possession. And then Hatate is fouled by Nielsen. It'll be a Celtic free kick 15 yards inside their own half. 5 minutes until the interval. Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0.
Yeah, great play from Scales. He's the most improved player for me in the Celtic team, both, and he's proven at international level too, doing really well. But the Destroyer, I think that's the name I'm going to call Nielsen in the middle of the Aberdeen sort of midfield. He's there to do a job and stop Celtic from penetrating, and he's given away little fouls now. As long as he doesn't end up in the referee's book, then he'll continue doing that role. Oh,
there's Hatate. Has he kept that one in? Don't think so. It is a goal kick. Yeah, eventually the assistant flags, but and then Kyogo's just taking a dunt there from Rubezic as he tried to latch on to what he thought was a loose ball. But all of a sudden it looked like Hatate, if he had been able to reach that, it was just a quick throw-in, and he was in acres of space, but just too much on it. Well, in the end.
Yeah, he ran off his midfielder, and I don't know who was picking him up, but he can loads of space, and none of the defenders reacted to it, but the ball just ran away from him and went out for a goal kick.
Which is taken by Mitov to Rubezic, who comes forward down the right-hand side, plays it long, looking for Nisbet. Baye's in the way though, and Celtic have it back through McGregor. McGregor goes back to Trusty. 3 minutes of the first period left, plus maybe a minute or two of stoppage time. There was a brief interlude for some treatment to Rubezic after he put his head in the way of a Hatate thunderbolt. Here's Baye, good control from him in the left back position. I think it's difficult to say in terms of, like, Greg Taylor has been the first choice left back for so long, but Baye has clearly not come here from Barcelona just to sit on the bench, Packy.
No, and the more games he gets, the better I would assume he will become. But he's small, he's sharp, he'll definitely get himself forward. But listen, I can't fault Greg Taylor also, because he was exceptional for I think probably the last couple of seasons, and people were criticising him, but for me, I couldn't see that.
Yeah, he's just got a little knock just now that kept him out of the Scotland squads and kept him out of the last couple of Celtic squads as well. Celtic have got a free kick in the halfway line here, and I think the grumbles you can hear about the stadium are because Nielsen has committed a number of free kicks, a number of fouls, and has yet to be spoken to. He's been spoken to now along with Graham Shinney by Nick Walsh, but I think it's a case of like one more and you're in the book, pal.
Yeah, and that's going to take away from his game because he gets close, you know, he sees it, he uses his hands, his body, and all of that to stop anybody getting sort of away from him. And it's frustrating at times for the player who has the ball, but that's his job to do it in the middle of the pitch. But don't go in the referee's book, otherwise that part of your game is gone from you.
Conor McLennan has pulled one back for Ayr, just signed for them actually, and he's got them back into that game against Livingston. Ayr 1, Livy 2 in the Championship. Nielsen was given a last warning there, I think, from Nick Walsh when the boos around the stadium were for the lack of a yellow card, as Schmeichel picks up on the edge of his 6-yard box. We're into the last minute of the 45, Celtic leading by 2-0. Hatate and Kyogo with the first half strikes to put the champions in command going into half-time. And Aberdeen, well, they've had a couple of glimpses of goal. Clarkson with the best opportunity, but didn't really get a hold of the shot properly and allowed Baye to get back and clear it off the line. And Celtic have it on the halfway line here through Scales. And forward they come now is Baye, picking up left-hand side. Out to Maida. Maida up against Devlin, about 20 yards from the goal line, a couple of yards in from the left flank. He goes back again to McGregor. Celtic will happily just take that 2-goal advantage in to the dressing rooms at the interval, you would imagine. Nielsen steps in and wins it back for Aberdeen. Back with Mitov now. He just launches it over the halfway line. Scales watches it all the way, chests it down. And the Republic of Ireland international turns and plays it back to Kasper Schmeichel, appreciated by the home fans. 3 minutes added on actually at the end of this first period. Into those now as Johnston powers over the halfway line down the right hand side. McGrath trying to get back with a lovely ball inside. McKenzie for Kuhn. Across came Malloy to help out, and he just managed to block Kuhn to stop his progress, but it was a terrific pass from Johnston inside the full-back there. Up to the halfway line Aberdeen come. Nisbet can't keep a hold of it though. Engels picks up and plays it to McGregor, more or less on the centre spot. Short ball to Baye and then back to his captain, left-hand side. Celtic perhaps looking for a third before the interval. Back with Hatate, who opened the scoring. Now Scales on the halfway line. Celtic looking to keep up this wonderful record they hold over Aberdeen. No wins for the Dons in the last 25 meetings, and they're looking to make that 26 for Celtic over the course of this afternoon. Halfway towards doing that, as Nielsen takes the throw in this left-hand side. Back to Malloy. Nielsen once more. He closed down. That's a dangerous ball. He's given to Rubizic. Rubizic back to his keeper. Closed down by Maida. It'll break to the right-hand side for Hatate into the near post. Maida now on the goal line, about 6 yards from goal. Back to Nicholas Kuhn. Blocked about 8 yards out. There's a Celtic player, I think it's Kyogo's, hit the deck in the middle of the 6-yard box as Maida thought about trying to cut it back for him initially. Play continues with Hatate into the box. Johnston goes for goal and it's knocked over the top of the crossbar by Mitov. But Celtic claiming there should have been a penalty in there as Kyogo went down. It will be checked.
It will be checked.
Handball as well.
I didn't see much in it, to be honest, but it was an incredible passage of play, wasn't it? You know, the ball's short from Nielsen back to Rubizic, and then he plays it back to his goalkeeper. He should just clear his lines, and then the goalkeeper gets caught on the ball. And Celtic had 2-3 chances. Kuhn should have had a first time when it comes to him, almost about 7 or 8 yards out. He takes a touch, and then he was closed down, and Celtic get their corner. But he had the opportunity of putting Celtic 3-0 up.
There was a variety of opportunities in there for Celtic. The ultimate check was for a handball rather than for any infringement on Kyogo, and that was deemed to have been the player's arm was by his side as the corner comes in from Engels. It's dealt with and headed clear by the Aberdeen defence, picked up by Baye, and now back out to Engels' right hand side. Maybe one final opportunity for Celtic in this first half. Johnston was in there looking to make a nuisance of himself. Rubizic got his head to it and heads it behind for the corner kick over on the far side.
Yeah, Celtic finishing with a flurry here, but Aberdeen under severe pressure trying to get that third goal. To be happy with the 2 goals going into half time, but if you got a third, then game would be over.
Yeah, absolutely. Engels might just have time to take this corner. We have gone beyond the 3 minutes initially allotted for injury time, and then there was the brief check as well for the penalty as Engels curls it in from the left hand side, looking for Trusty. Trusty gets something on it, but Aberdeen also making the challenge, and that will be that for the first half in Celtic Park. It Rise to acclaim the home side, who go off with a 2-goal advantage. It was a pretty even opening to the game. Aberdeen clearly having come down to Glasgow to make life difficult for the home side, but Celtic slowly but surely began to dominate and ultimately took the lead in 24 minutes. Kuhn made an interception deep in his own half, played it to Engels. Engels fed it down the right hand side for Kyogo, who had the composure to pick his man out, who was a Tatty just inside the box, and he dispatched it beyond Mitov to make it 1-0 after 24 minutes. And just 3 minutes later it was 2. A Gavin Malloy mistake inside the penalty area. He laid it on a plate for Kyogo, who needed no second invitation to drive it beyond the goalkeeper to make it 2. Clarkson had a great chance to reduce the arrears 10 minutes before the interval as the ball broke to him inside the Celtic penalty area, but with no one marking him at all, he rather scuffed his shot and allowed Baye to get back and clear it off the line. There's a Clarkson free kick into the arms of Schmeichel after that, and then in injury time Alistair Johnston with a shot that hit the target, but Mitov pushed over the bar after Celtic had another couple of chances to try and hit the target prior to that. But those 2 goals from Hatate and Kyogo made the half-time scoreline Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0.
Motherwell 0, Dundee 1, while Cameron on 38 minutes, and St Johnstone cruising at home to Ross County. A double from Kimpioka, 16 and 45. Elijah Campbell sent off for the wayside on 31 minutes. A reminder of that rant line that Rory referred to there, 085 92 95 00. Just send us a message, give us your name, give us the club you support and your message, or a question for Michael, for Tom, for any of the other pundits. We'll get that played out later in the programme alongside the fans who will call in to us. And the music this evening is chosen by Scotland striker Lyndon Dykes. Now, one of the songs we can't play out, so I've been given the opportunity to choose the final song that plays us out this evening. I can tell you it's an
What was wrong with censorship?
just some of the, it happens from time to time, just some of the lyrics. So he chose 3 songs, as the guys do. 2 are brilliant. We'll hear 2 from Lyndon Dykes. Not as good as the song I've chosen to play us out with on Sports Round just before 7 o'clock this evening. So we are just drawing to a close there at big attendance there, Rory. I was saying at Tannadice. Hibs fans, they'll be delighted to go and shoot at the break 1 apiece.
Yeah, they've not been terrible, other than individual errors defensively, which I've touched on. Lewis Miller's been guilty of it, as well as Ekpetita. You know, they've been fine. They've been fine in midfield, but they haven't looked particularly threatening from open play. So it was always going to take a set piece for that type of a situation to occur for them to get back in the game. Dundee United haven't been particularly great either, other than that little bit of quality from Glenn Middleton. So I do think in the final third and things, there has been a little bit of a lack of quality just in that final decision making. But you know, 1 each, and Hibs will be delighted, as you say, because going 1-0 down in the form that they're in, you know, to get back in at 1 each, David Gray will be happy with that. It'll have changed his team talk at half time dramatically, I'd imagine.
In the Championship,
it'll be absolutely it'll be over the moon, because things are a struggle. I was just saying before that for me, Kukarevich, when he was first at Hibs, looked like a real handful. This time around, I don't know what Rory's thoughts are in the game so far, but he just doesn't look anything like what he was, a couple of years ago when he was at Hibs. He looked a real powerful player, looked capable of scoring, and obviously the guys we just touched on the fact they've not scored many goals at all, and he just doesn't look nearly as potent a threat as he was before.
Yeah, he's playing a very similar role to Dolby up the other end, Michael, and I've mentioned Dolby a few times. I don't think I've mentioned Kukarevich once, other than the time there he just fell down, looked for a penalty, which was never a penalty. So yeah, I've got to agree, he's been playing on the periphery, and that's at best, to be honest.
Manchester United 0, Brentford 1. Ethan Pinnock with a goal there 5 minutes into first half stoppage time. Big problems for Manchester United, still just waiting for the half-time whistle to go at Tannadice. Then we'll get around the grounds. We'll get the half-time report from that game at Celtic Park. Game of the season, the domestic game of the season so far, no doubt at all about that. Celtic cruising at the moment, 2-0 against Aberdeen. Rio Hatate, a really nice finish from him in 24 minutes. Kyogo with a second on 27 minutes. In the Championship today, Chick Young's enjoying a belter of a game down at Somerset Park. Ayr United 1, Livingston 2.
Yeah, Ahora's having a nightmare there, an absolute nightmare, and Ferry doesn't make the most of it. Sorry, it was Babunski doesn't make the most of it. That is half-time 1 each, but Ahora touch was awful, and then he gives the ball straight to the Dundee United player. Nothing comes of it, but that is half-time, Kenny, 1 each.
Yeah, if anything sums up Hibs defending over the past couple of years, that would certainly be it. But as Rory said, they were not punished. So half-time reports to come on Sports, and stay with us. We're with you right through until 7 o'clock.
Football from Sports Sound.
Brilliant drop of the shoulder. What a goal!
From BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
The 1,000 Mile Challenge for BBC Children in Need.
BBC Radio Scotland is literally going to great lengths to raise money for BBC Children in Need this year.
Our swim team is going to attempt to swim 24 miles in 5 days. That's more than the length of Loch Ness.
We'll be joining with other BBC teams from across the UK as together we try to clock up 1,000 miles.
We'll bring you a splash-by-splash account of how it's going with regular updates on mornings.
Together, swimming 1,000 miles for BBC Children in Need. BBC Radio Scotland.
You're listening to Sports and on BBC Radio Scotland. We're with you right through until 7 o'clock this evening. Our game of the day takes place in the East End of Glasgow. There's been so much drama right across the card this afternoon. No shortage at all. Celtic against Aberdeen. Let's hear the half-time report from Alistair Lamont.
Yeah, Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0, and the champions showing exactly why they are champions, and at the moment looking good to move 3 points clear of today's opponents. In truth, they've been better from almost the off. Aberdeen started positively without a doubt, certainly didn't come here to just sit in and defend, but they could have been behind in 12 minutes after Dimitar Mitov was caught off his line. An audacious attempt from Engels from the left-hand side, trying to curl it over the goalkeeper, who was backpedaling to try and get back onto his line, but it came off the top of the crossbar, fortunately for him, and behind. But that was just a warning shot for Aberdeen. They didn't heed it ultimately, and they went behind as they lost the ball deep in Celtic territory. Nicholas Kuhn making an interception. He played it to Engels. Engels fired the ball down the right-hand side for Kyogo, who just paused and then rolled it into the path of Rio Hatate from about 15 yards. He banged it beyond Dimitar Mitov to give Celtic the advantage. And then just 3 minutes later, it was 2-0. A Gavin Malloy mistake inside his own penalty area. He just played it into the path of Kyogo, and he doesn't need asking twice, does he? From that kind of distance, he just notched it into the back of the net, and that was 2-0. Leighton Clarkson had Aberdeen's best opportunity about 10 minutes before the interval. Some good play going forward from Aberdeen, and a little bit of good fortune to get into Clarkson's path. No one marking him about 10 yards from goal, but he didn't really seem to catch the shot with any conviction. And it was Alex Baye was able to get in back behind his goalkeeper and knock it off the line to prevent Aberdeen reducing the deficit. Alistair Johnson had a shot saved in the first half stoppage time by Mitov to prevent Celtic completely killing the game off. But it does look very much like they are heading 3 points clear, certainly at half-time. It's Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0.
Thank you to Alistair Lamont. Full second half commentary to come, and of course coverage through Willie Miller on Open All Mics. Let's get to Tynecastle. Hearts at home to St Mirren, and hear from Alan Preston.
Well, Hearts lead by 1-0 Kenny at half-time, and in 12 minutes a Penrice down the left-hand side, really good ball to the back post. Dander flashes it back across, but there was Gogic to clear it just before Vargas almost touched it in. But the very first goal for the Neil Critchley era came in 60 minutes, and what a thing of beauty it was. The ball was played into Vargas, lovely little back heel flick into Shanklin. He then returned the compliment with a beautiful little pass with the outside of his right foot back into Vargas's path, and he stroked the ball home with his left foot to give Hearts the lead in 16 minutes. Shanklin then 4 minutes later should have done better. He's got Dander tearing down the outside of him, but he elects to shoot and he pulls his shot about 2 or 3 yards wide. Then a Danda free kick found its way to Rose at the back post. His effort hit the side net, and St Mirren not really been in it, but in 37 minutes could have equalised. A Tanser corner, there was Phillips at the back post, free header, knocked it wide. Half-time score at Tynecastle, Hearts 1, St Mirren 0.
Thank you to Alan Preston. Next stop for Park Motherwell home to Dundee. Let's hear from Stephen Craigan.
I said before the game, Ken, I expected a tight and competitive game. That's exactly what we got in the first half. There was no real cohesion at the top end of the pitch, so neither side really carried a threat. Plenty of nice tidy football, but that penetrating pass, that penetrating run has been severely lacking. Billy Cometto had a chance after about half an hour. It was a free kick from Scott Fraser. He probably should have done better. Looking back, he probably feel he should have scored, but the only goal of the game came after 37 minutes. It was Lyle Cameron got the goal. Motherwell had 2 or 3 attempts to clear the ball. Dundee kept it alive and Cameron slotted home from about 10 yards. I have to say, at that stage, it was deserved, and it has been in the first half. Motherwell have been a yard away from where they want to be. They haven't really created anything of note, but you have to give Dundee lots of credit. I have to say they've been really good. If they manage to get their first clean sheet of the season, they could earn just their second Premiership win of the season. As it looks at the minute, Motherwell will have to do something different. Dundee in complete control. It's Motherwell 0, Dundee 1.
Thank you to Stephen Craigan. Let's then hear from John Robertson. He's in Perth this afternoon watching St Johnstone at home to Ross County.
Yes, in half-time it's St Johnstone 2, Ross County 0. In 7 minutes it took the home team to get going in front of new manager Simo Valcari, who's in the stands today. It was a free kick cleverly worked between Jason Holt and Nicky Clark. Nicky Clark walked away, darted in behind the wall. The ball was chipped in, he headed it just over, and the same player 4 minutes later, a wonderful ball in from Raymond. Clark threw everything he could at it, could only just get a glance on it, knocked it wide. And then after 14 minutes, St Johnstone took the lead. A little give and go, saw Holt burst in the area. It looked like he'd clipped the Ross County defender. The referee John Bean let it go. The ball was flashed across the goal. There was Kim Pioka at the back post to tap home. Ross County were furious, but after a long VAR check, the goal was given due to minimal contact. And on 30 minutes, the turning point of the game here over the far side, Elias Campbell, who had picked up a yellow card for giving away that early free kick, went in heavy again on Dre Wright, and he received his second yellow card, therefore a red, and was off the pitch. In the 44th minute, St Johnstone should have gone further ahead. The brilliant run from Nielsen from his own half, all the way along the touchline, all the way along the byline. He cut it back. Kim Pioka blazed it over from 6 yards. And if County thought they were going to get in just a 1 goal down, they were sadly mistaken. As right on the interval, this time Dre Wright and Holt played a little give 1 and 2. The ball was played to the back post. There was Kim Pioka to thrash the ball home to make it 2-0. For the visiting fans, they were 2-0. They were 2 behind to St Johnstone at home a few weeks ago. Managed to pull it back. In the first half, really only Ronan Hale with a couple of efforts. One he screwed wide from 18 yards and another from 20 yards, which was straight at the keeper. St Johnstone have been totally dominant and thoroughly deserve their 2-0 lead at the interval here. Ross County look like they're going to make changes. 3 players were put through a rigorous warm-up, and Don Cowie is going to have to change something, because at half-time they trail by 2-0.
Thank you to John Robertson. Things very finely poised at Tannadice this afternoon. Dundee United at home to Hibs. Let's hear from Rory Loy.
Yes, indeed, Kenny. Hibs started well with a couple of corners, lots of possession, however, didn't do much with it. Dundee United happy to give the ball up, but they did spark into life in 20 minutes when Middleton showed Lewis Miller a clean pair of heels. He cut back to Dolby, who bundled the ball into the net alongside O'Hora, possibly one for the dubious goals panel to see if Dolby gets his goal or not. Newell's dipping volley flew just over on 34 before Hibs did level 7 minutes after. Miller headed a deep free kick back across the goal and O'Hora arrived to head Hibs level. It's not been the greatest of games. I would have expected more from Dundee United, being the home side, being high up the table, sitting in the top 6 position. I thought they would have been more front foot. They've been a little bit passive at times, and Hibs have been riddled with defensive mistakes as well. So it's not been the greatest game, but both sides have scored with their only real chances of the match, and that means it's 1 each at the break, Kenny.
Thank you to Rory Loy. We're covering the big game in the Championship this afternoon. Ayr United at home to Livingston, and Chick Young, it certainly hasn't disappointed.
Has had everything, Kenny. Quality, attitude, passion, some fantastic football in the park and some wonderful goals. But just about to kick off the second half, actually, and I would request more of the same in the second 45 minutes. Livingston were 2-0 ahead at one point. There was a magnificent goal from Robbie Muirhead after just 8 minutes, and Livingston had a grip of the game for a while. Scott Pittman scored a very calm second, just very relaxed, rolling it round round the goalkeeper and into the net. But Ayr United got themselves back into it. 41 minutes on the clock. There was a header from George Oakley. The goalkeeper, Jerome Pryor, made a magnificent save, but it only fell simply for Conor McClellan to tap it into the net. 2-1 at half-time. The sun is shining in Ayrshire. This is just absolutely brilliant. Give me this every week. I hope we get more of the same in the second half-time. It is, though. United 1, Livingston 2.
Yeah, we love Scottish football. I can see the teams coming back out at Celtic Park. So once again, a choice of listening on sports. And to listen to that top of the table clash between Celtic and Aberdeen, that's on digital, 810 medium wave, and BBC Radio Scotland Extra on BBC Sounds. For open all mics, head to BBC Radio Scotland on 92 to 95 FM and BBC Radio Scotland on BBC Sounds. And this afternoon, you can watch open all mics live right now. That's online at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland.
Football from Sports Sound.
Brilliant drop of the shoulder. What a goal!
From BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
Welcome back to Celtic Park, where Aberdeen are in the process of making a couple of changes, and it's up front really where the changes are being made. It's Esther Sockler for Kevin Nisbet, and Duke is coming on for Leighton Clarkson. So Mimi Telleen recognising there is something different needs to be done to try and get back into the game. Kevin Nisbet didn't get a lot of service, that's for sure, didn't get a lot of support, and has been replaced at half-time. Duke, well, he made the return as a substitute to the Aberdeen team last time out and was involved in the winning goal ultimately. So if he can continue his redemption at Aberdeen by helping them get back into this game, then I'm sure that'll endear him to the fans again once more. It will be Celtic though to get us back underway, looking to no doubt add to the 2-goal advantage they currently hold. Arna Engels just preparing to get us back underway. Celtic going from right to left as we look at it from the press box in the middle of the main stand, and underway we are once more. It's Hatate, the opening goal scorer, barged to the ground there by Keskinen. Hatate, usually a pretty mild-mannered guy, taking exception to that, and understandably, and Nick Walsh having a word there with Keskinen. It was a pretty needless and quite petulant barge, wasn't it, Packy?
Yeah, just a little bit late coming in to put a little bit of pressure on Hatate and just catching him late, and referee having a stern word with him. Just Aberdeen making those changes, and Jimmy McGrath stepping into Clarkson's position. They've almost gone to a 4-4-2 situation. Duke out on the left, and Keskinen here on the right hand side, and then the two sitting players with Shinnie and with Nielsen in the middle of the pitch, and then Shogler obviously coming on to replace.
That's going to be
up front.
A yellow card for Rubizic for the foul there, and a free kick to Celtic in a pretty decent position, just about 22 yards from goal. It's well left of centre, almost actually in line with the corner of the penalty area. But Arna Engels from this kind of distance will certainly feel he can trouble the goalkeeper.
It's a little bit wide, I think, for him to maybe take the goalkeeper on, but it depends. He set up that two-man wall again. The goalkeeper is crouching down, trying to get his defensive line in the right position. He's picking up over on the left-hand side. I think he'll swing this in round about the penalty spot.
Okay, well, we shall see. It is Arna Engels, the Belgian, doing exactly what Packy suggested, and it's towards the 6-yard box and then lashed towards goal by Nicholas Kuhn, and wide in the end. And Aberdeen surviving that particular threat to their goal, and it does remain at the start of this second period, Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0.
Yeah, just the goalkeeper's hobbling around a little bit, and somebody's obviously just stood on his foot, but he's okay. He's taking the goal kick. But it was a good ball in, actually played right across that penalty spot, and lots of bodies arriving in there, and it comes back to Kuhn, who just drives it past the post on the right hand side. But Celtic starting off, it's a good ball.
There's a flick there from Maida to Kyogo just inside the penalty, trying to swivel away from his markers, eventually crowded out, but it comes back to him. Kyogo stabs it goalwards. Block, big claims from Callum McGregor there that it struck an arm, I think, but didn't notice that myself as it occurred, as Aberdeen now break with Shinnie finding Duke. Duke, is a slip there from Johnston. Duke's almost away from Engels. Celtic getting bodies back, nothing wrong with the challenge as Duke goes down, and Celtic can come forward themselves. Hatate finding Kyogo right hand side. VAR not checking any further that claim from Callum McGregor as Celtic play the ball into the penalty area. Aberdeen get it clear. There's a chance there for Aberdeen to counter just a moment ago, but Duke not quite able to free himself of the shackles of the Celtic players.
Yeah, it was a good opportunity, and the players falling all over the place, weren't they? Slipping and diving in and so on. And Duke trying to win his free kick instead of just staying on his feet and taking the ball. What did he try to get across? I'm not sure who it was, one of the Celtic midfielders, and the referee wasn't having any of it, and the opportunity was gone.
And Hearts have gone 2-0 up. Oyegoke with the second goal as they lead St Mirren by 2-0. An ideal start for Neil Critchley, getting a victory under his belt, or at least well on the way to that, as with the Edinburgh derby looming, and a European game before that against Nicosia.
Perfect start for him, isn't it?
Yeah, it's looking that way. It's a good ball in behind. Sockler's in, edge of the penalty as Sockler scores! Aberdeen back in it. Liam Scales couldn't get back at him, he couldn't bring him down, or he'd have been off. And Kasper Schmeichel couldn't keep the effort out. Sockler, brilliant composure, and from 18 yards just slots it beyond the Dane. And Aberdeen reviving their opportunity here to take something at Celtic Park. It's Celtic 2, Aberdeen 1.
Yeah, ball played in behind Liam Scales, and Schockler right up against him. I'm just wondering whether he was sort of kind of almost running offside as the ball was hit, but timing might have been perfect, but it will be checked. But as soon as he was in behind, Liam Scales was never going to catch him, and it was a 1v1 with the goalkeeper, and took his goal really, really well. But puts Aberdeen, if they get this, they're checking it for a possible offside, but if they get this goal, that's them back in the game, and then of course we're going for a sensational second half.
Yeah, well, we do now face away as the VAR officials check that one, but no, it's a goal, it's given, it was onside. Looked onside, I have to say, initially, and VAR confirming that. And Aberdeen back in it, they've given themselves a lifeline, and something to build on here in this second period.
Absolutely, you've got to say, the manager, he makes the decision to put Schockler on, and he comes up trumps with his first real touch of the game.
Keskinen from the right-hand side, blocked by Scales, out for a throw-in on this right-hand side. Aberdeen with their tails up all of a sudden. Not too many teams come back from 2 goals down at Celtic Park. Devlin driving into the box, just loses control of it in the end, and Scales steps in and now finds Hatate. We've played 6 minutes of the second period, and Aberdeen back in it. But here comes Maida down the left-hand side for Celtic. Rubezic just sticks out a leg and makes the challenge. He's just got to be careful when Celtic are running at him now with being in the yellow card. Kuhn on the right-hand side now, away from McKenzie, edge of the box, tries to get the shot in. It was a weak one and easily blocked by Malloy. Comes back to Engels. Celtic will perhaps now look to up the ante once again themselves to reassert their own position of authority. But the Aberdeen fans have found their voice after that Esther Sockler goal. 6th goal of the season, he's first in the league.
I'm not sure hit the pass, Al, but
no,
it was a super
sure
pass.
Myself, no.
It was a brilliant weighted pass in behind Scales for Sockler to run onto, and all he do is just take a touch and then get his composure to finish past Schmeichel to put them back in this game.
Yeah, it was almost Majowski-esque, wasn't it? The finish and the run in behind, and Esther Sockler, who has a, physically from the kind of distance we're looking at, also looks a bit like Majowski, and well, he along with Pat Pagay and Kevin Nisbet have got to try and almost bury the ghost of Majowski, who scored so many goals in his time at Aberdeen. But Sockler bringing Aberdeen back into this contest, that's for sure, with a cool, composed finish running through on goal, because it's the kind of finish, Packy, that strikers, sometimes you see them, because they've got so much time to think about what they're going to do, they end up making a mess of it. But Sokler was very composed as Celtic win themselves a corner on the far side.
Yeah, just from the goalkeeper's perspective, you're coming out, you're hoping that you narrow the angle and you maybe get a foot on it or you get a block on it, but he finished it with a plumb right into the right hand side netting.
Here's McGregor, 25 yards from goal, the corner taken short, plays it square to Hattati. Hattati now to Baye and back to Kuhn on the right hand side, sends it into the box. Devlin's header clear, Hattati takes the shot, comes off Shinnie. It was pretty fortunate for Celtic because that was heading miles off target. Shinnie gets a touch on it and takes it behind for a corner.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Celtic there. Everybody was almost up in the box. The centre half, both centre halves up there. They were quite open at the back again. If Aberdeen was able to sort of kind of nick a ball, there was lots of spaces for them to go and counter-attack Celtic.
Engels will take this corner from the left-hand side. Celtic with a 2-1 advantage, 53 minutes on the clock. Aberdeen just pegging them back at the start of this second period. Engels plays it into the near post short. Gets it back from Kuhn, different angle. Engels towards the back post now, and it's clawed away by Mitov. It wasn't quite going on target, but Mitov couldn't be sure and just had to pull it behind, and it'll be another corner over on the right-hand side this time.
Yeah, I think he did the right decision. Made the right decision there. You can almost not knowing where you are when the ball sort of can almost coming down around that back post, and do I leave it? Do I get a touch on it? Better being safe than sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. Engels now to the right hand side to take the latest corner. 54 played, Celtic 2, Aberdeen 1 in this top of the table clash. Engels again takes it short for Kuhn this time. Back to McGregor on the angle of the box. Finds Engels again, right hand side of the penalty, plays it square, comes back to him off Rubezic. Engels this time stands up to the back post, no Celtic player there, but Scales will get onto it on the left hand side, sends it back in. It's a good ball, and it's away again by Rubezic. Scales picks up once more. Shinnie has managed to get it clear only as far as Hattati, who finds McGregor, and now Baye closed down there by Duke. He's won it back, and then that's actually a yellow card going Duke's way for the challenge on Baye. Well, he just saw a glimpse of the ball there to be won. Baye just showed him enough of it to entice him into it, and there wasn't much in it, but no. Nick Walsh deciding it was a foul and a yellow card for Duke.
Yeah, if he made any contact with the ball at all, I think he might have got away with it, but I don't think he did. But Baye taking a chance again as last man almost on the halfway line, when that ball should have been knocked back very quickly to Schmeichel and then they start again, but he took a chance, took an extra touch, and allowed Duke to come and put him under pressure.
Well, it's a long time since Aberdeen took a point here, 0-0 in March of 2019 as Callum McGregor is taken to the ground. That's got to be a yellow card for Sivert Nielsen at long last. Celtic fans baying for it and getting their wish this time.
Yeah, he had to go in the book that time. Of course, he was so late. But what he did, he stopped Celtic's attack again. He stepped out from his holding position on the halfway line, and he had to do something, but he was late and he took McGregor out of it. If he didn't, then Celtic were on the attack, exploiting that space that he left.
Sam Dalby's got his second of the afternoon to put Dundee United 2-1 ahead at Tannadice against Hibs. As Trusty picks up right hand side of his penalty area, knocks it back to Schmeichel, who's closed down quickly by Sokler. Gets the pass off to McGregor though. McGregor again keeping his composure and finding Hattati under significant pressure there from McGrath. Hattati driving Celtic forward. Now for Engels, just has to wait in the pass slightly, but he finds Kyogo. Kyogo onto the left foot. Challenge comes in from Rubezic. Did it come off the arm there? And McKenzie as Celtic eventually forced the corner. Kuhn, his effort coming off an Aberdeen player, but Kyogo with a great opportunity and only a corner in the end.
Yeah, he didn't have to cut in. I think he should have taken on his right foot and hit the target. As soon as he cut in and give the defenders an opportunity to get back and get a block in, but it was a brilliant bit of play from Celtic, almost from the goalkeeper, working their way through. It took 4 of the Aberdeen players out at that high press that they had, and suddenly then they were in trouble in the middle of the pitch, and the ball played through to Kyogo, and who really should have put Celtic back in commanding position.
Engels with the corner, right hand side, out swinger! Thought Trusty was going to find the target there, but comes all the way out to the left hand side. Hattati picks up, swings it back in towards the back post, and Trusty's the target, but Mitov comes out and takes that one pretty well, and then bowls it out over arm to Keskinen. Keskinen could be in here. There's a slip there from Baye. Keskinen up against Scales, edge of the box. Keskinen's got Cook inside of him. He didn't see him. He went for goal, and Scales makes the block. It's an Aberdeen corner, but that perhaps should have been the equaliser. The Aberdeen players, they cannot believe that Keskinen didn't pick out Duke in the middle. Sockler's having a word there with Duke, perhaps telling him to let Keskinen know, but my goodness, what a chance that was.
Oh, what a chance, and that was exactly what Willie Miller described to me today when I talked to him about how Aberdeen have changed their game. The goalkeeper getting the cross quickly to the edge of the box, setting up a counter-attack. Niskinson on his way, and then a brilliant block, only for a brilliant block from Scales.
Corner from McGrath into the near post. Michael takes it, but 2 or 3 yards off his line, and danger is alleviated, but yeah, Keskinen, well, he took advantage of the slip by Baye, certainly, but Duke was right up there along with him, and if he had just lifted his head and played it square, he would have been clean through on Schmeichel to potentially get an equaliser. Just to let you know that Dundee United's second goal that I gave you from Sam Dalby has been chopped off, and it so remains 1-1 there against Hibs.
Yeah, but yeah, just going back to that counter attack from Aberdeen. Those are the spaces that they can exploit, and yeah, of course, Baye slipped, and he should have done better, but stayed on his feet, but he didn't, and that gave the big opportunity. What a great recovery from Scales. He makes up maybe for the first goal when that ball was played in behind him, yeah, could have easily made it 2 each, which would be an incredible situation after Celtic being 2-0 up.
Yeah, well, Aberdeen certainly making a game of it in this second half. Still 2-1 Celtic lead though, just we approach the hour mark. Maida back the way to Liam Scales, midway inside his own half, plays it back to the edge of the box to Schmeichel, who immediately plays it to Austin Trusty. Trusty back to Schmeichel once more. Celtic just looking to recover their composure, which Aberdeen have rattled them a little bit as Baye plays it forward to Maida. Maida miscues the pass, not for the first time. It's McGrath out to Sockler, right hand side, up towards the edge of the penalty area. Now it's Keskinen just about finds a TV. Shinnie deflected, goal! Equaliser for Aberdeen! Graham Shinnie with the goal, and he goes and celebrates with the Aberdeen fans down at the corner flag. Incredibly, Aberdeen have drawn themselves level, having been 2-0 down. It's Celtic 2, Aberdeen 2.
Well, what a comeback, you've got to say. But again, big mistake from Maeda. He looks as if he's not at the races today. Maybe that travel out to Japan, I don't know where they played their game, but certainly it maybe has taken out of him. He just miskicked it completely and allowed Aberdeen to get the opportunity. When it comes back to Shinnie, he takes on the shot, big huge deflection past Schmeichel, but 2 each. This game can go any way now.
Graham Shinnie with a powerful effort which might well have tested Kasper Schmeichel in its own right, but the massive deflection gave the Dane absolutely no chance whatsoever. I think it will go down as a Shinnie goal because it looked to be going on target. Either way, it is Celtic 2, Aberdeen 2, and it's very much, Packy, game on here.
Yeah, very much game on. You know, they've come out, he's obviously put fresh legs on, he's put Sockler up front, who's causing a little bit of panic at times, but Celtic still very much playing their game, trying to pass the ball, trying to create openings, but there is spaces there for Celtic to exploit. Very brave of them also, Sockler up front, McGrath almost supporting him, and then you've got Duke and Keskinen wide on left and right. So that's 4 players. Sometimes 4 are out of the game if Celtic break their press and they become a little bit stretched, which Celtic can exploit, of course, but also they're a threat. And Celtic need to get their act back together again and start getting control of this game.
Yeah, they're giving away a free kick over on the far side, and well, what a revival it's been in this second period from Aberdeen, coming from 2 goals down to draw level 2-2, and still almost half an hour to play. As you say, Packy, it could go either way now, but Celtic have to really get their mojo working again as Aberdeen take the free kick down the left-hand side. McGrath will go and chase it, but Trusty's there ahead of him, but he's under pressure. McGrath just needs to try and block him off. He does get blocked on the ball forward, but it goes behind for a goal kick to Celtic. 62 and a half played. Celtic 2, Aberdeen 2. What a game we have in our hands here.
As a really good game, actually, you know, and a fair play to the manager from Aberdeen to make those changes and almost say, well, listen, if we're going to get beaten, we're going to get beaten the right way here. But Celtic have still got huge ability and huge opportunity to go and win this game.
Yeah, Kuhn playing the ball forward there. It was snuffed out by Mackenzie at the expense of a corner, but just quickly taken. It's back to McGregor on the angle of the box. McGregor thinking about the shot, thinking about the pass back to Kuhn, which is where it goes eventually. Right hand side, Kuhn back to McGregor again. Hatate's lurking as well. That's who he passes to, but he's forced back the way to Baye, who's last man once more.
Yeah.
Hatate again.
Yeah, Aberdeen have everybody back behind the ball, 40 yards from goal, just making it difficult for Celtic to break them down.
Philip Bernardo is stripped and ready to come on as Brendan Rodgers feels that he has to change things. Haven't seen his side give up a 2-goal lead, which does not happen very often, that's for sure. As McGregor now just pokes it back to Baye. Baye into the feet of Maida, who'll be looking to atone for that big error that he made. I mean, by no means was it an error.
Mistake.
It was a mistake, but I mean, it wasn't a clear goal-scoring opportunity as soon as he did it. But
no, but where the ball ricocheted off, he's coming off. It looks as if, as James Ford was coming on. He looks a tired player today, and again travels and takes it out of him, and that's something that Brendan mentioned before the game. Tati's off also. Both of them have travelled. Bernardo and James Forrest coming on to replace them.
Yeah, so Bernardo and Forrest for Maida and Hatate. As Celtic look to just freshen things up themselves. We've got 25 minutes to play at Celtic Park, and it's Celtic 2, Aberdeen 2. You might hear the Aberdeen fans away to our right. They're certainly enjoying this second half more than they enjoyed the first. As Baye finds Bernardo, who feeds it down the left-hand side, but it's a poor ball really from the Portuguese under-21 international. His first involvement in the game, having replaced Rio Hatate. 2-2 it stands. Elsewhere 1-1 United Hibs, 1-0 Dundee at Fir Park, 2-0 Hearts against St Mirren, 2-0 St Johnstone against Ross County. Lots of goals to watch tonight on Sportsy, 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel, and of course on iPlayer whenever you fancy. Here's Johnston into McGregor. Johnston once more out to the right hand side for Engels. Engels can drive Celtic forward here, finding Kuhn cutting in off the right hand side, as he often does, into the feet of Forrest. Forrest played the 1-2 with Baye. Baye now gets it back once more, left hand side, cuts it into the area, away by Nielsen. Keskinen will go and try and chase that. Scales does really well though to get there just ahead of him and gets it back to Forrest. Forrest now from the edge of the box looking for Kyogo. It's knocked away by Rubezic. Aberdeen just lying very deep just at the moment. They want to bring themselves up the park somewhat, you would think, as Celtic build once more.
Yeah, they've got their 2 goals back. If they walked away from Celtic Park with a draw, they would be absolutely delighted after being 2-0 down. So they're just doing their defensive stuff for the moment. Everybody working really hard. Celtic working the ball from right to left. Here's a chance.
Baye to the byline. Shinnie gets back there to make the block. Behind for another Celtic corner. Celtic looking to get their noses back in front with just over 23 minutes remaining at Celtic Park between the top 2 in the Premiership, and it has been a battle royale worthy of the top 2 in the league, isn't it?
Worthy of the billing, I've got to say. It's been an interesting game. I thought Celtic, after going 2-0 up, if they got that 3rd goal, it would have the game would be almost over, but as soon as you get the first goal back, there's always a wee chance.
Engels corner to the back post. Trusty beaten to it by Malloy there, out for a throw-in over on the far side as Shaden Morris prepares to come on for the Dons. Aberdeen having made the 2 changes at the break. And it's going to be Keskinen who will be replaced. So one speedy winger for another. And no sign that Jimmy Tellin is settling for a point, certainly, but you would have to imagine.
No, it's just fresh legs, isn't it? That's all. Obviously, Keskinen has been a threat. He's worked hard, and you know, you want to get a similar, maybe type player that's fresh, that can actually do the defensive job and also try to break forward when you have the ball. He'd just play in that same position on the right-hand side.
St Johnstone, I've got a third goal. Nicky Clark has grabbed that one against 10-man Ross County after Eli Campbell was sent off in the first period, adding to Kimpioka's double. So although Simo Valakari not quite technically yet taken over as yet, certainly things are looking up for St Johnstone as the ball goes back to Schmeichel here, and he just takes a slightly awkward touch, and then he's closed down by Sockler. Sockler gets it back across goal. There's no Aberdeen player there as yet. Scales has to just hack it clear as Morris tries to close him down, and all of a sudden, I mean, what was Kasper Schmeichel doing there? He took an absolute age to deal with that.
He was desperate for somebody to give him a little angle, and he just delayed, and then it was blocked. Just gets the crowd anxious, doesn't it? You know, you're home and you've been 2-0 up, and suddenly then you start making little mistakes.
Here's Mackenzie almost at the byline, left-hand side. He's taken down there by Kuhn, and it will be an Aberdeen free kick almost down at the corner flag. Another opportunity for them to try and get on the score sheet once more, and if they could turn this right around and take the lead here, well, I mean, that would just be absolutely incredible. But they've definitely got a chance to do that here. Rubizic joining the attack here along with Gavin Malloy.
Yeah, silly foul to give away there. Kuhn just keeps the anxiousness around the stadium up, and gives a great opportunity for Aberdeen to get their big players forward.
McGrath left-hand side then, right-footed, curls it in right into the 6-yard box, takes a ricochet into the net! Aberdeen are in front! This is remarkable! And would you believe it's Duke who's celebrating the goal? It took a couple of touches inside the 6-yard box. It wasn't entirely clear who got the final one, but Duke is taking the credit. And Aberdeen, from 2 goals down, are 3-2 up at Celtic Park. It's just astonishing.
That's astonishing, absolutely. That ball's played in. Nice bit of pace on it, right into almost about 3 yards out. And I'm just wondering, I would like to see it again, to see can the goalkeeper come and deal with it and punch that ball away. But he always was crowded out, and there was 2-3 Aberdeen players in there, and Duke gets the final touch. But an incredible turnaround in this game. Celtic find themselves, after being in a commanding situation at half-time, a goal down now with about less than probably 20 minutes to go. They're checking the goal for a possible handball that just came up on the screen here, which again would be a sensational kind of change to this game. But wow.
Yeah, well, there's a check for handball ongoing, as you say, Paki, as Celtic prepared to replace Kyogo with Ida. Now, this goal is not going to stand. It's come off Duke's hand. Greg Aitken, the VAR, relaying the information to Nick Walsh, and it is going to be an indirect free kick to Celtic, and it's no goal, and a massive sigh of relief is going to go around Celtic Park right now.
Absolutely, sigh of relief, and that it is. It's a free kick. They're obviously VAR has done his job, probably, so you know, that's the way it is. But from that perspective, you can see the Aberdeen players really disappointed. Celtic and the fans have reacted to it in a positive way, and they've just made a change also. Kyogo's gone off and Adam Ida's gone on.
Yeah, and just to tell you, the St Johnstone third goal has also been chopped off. So back to 2-0 against Ross County. And here's Bernardo. Celtic looking to take advantage of that major let-off there, as McGregor catches McGrath in the middle of the park. A yellow card for the Celtic captain. Well, Celtic Park absolutely erupted, and that just tells you how tense things had got, Paki.
Oh, it is. You know, this is top of the table clash, and there was, you know, it was billed all week, and everybody was wondering how Aberdeen was going to respond to that almost responsibility to be up there challenging Celtic. 2-0 down then, and you're saying, it's back the same old story, but they've responded really, really well. And this game, as I said, can go any way in the last sort of almost 20 minutes left.
Yeah, Aberdeen on a free kick there, but it's gone all the way behind for a Celtic goal kick, which is quickly taken by Schmeichel. Yeah, it's about 17 minutes of normal time remaining, plus injury time, as Engels manages to post it forward to Bernardo. Bernardo on to Bailly, left-hand side, out to Forrest. The Celtic crowd trying to rouse their team from their slumbers here almost, as McGregor plays it to Scales to Trusty, midway inside the Aberdeen half. Now it's Engels once more, leaves it to McGregor central, on for Bernardo. Engels helps it into the path of Ida, but out comes Mitov to dive at the big striker's feet and smother the danger. And so 73.5 minutes in, it's Celtic 2, Aberdeen 2, and what a game this has been.
Yeah, listen, it's enjoyable. They're both teams sort of almost going for it. That this time Mitov getting the ball in his hands, he slows the game down just to get a little bit of breathing space here, because it's going almost a mile a minute.
Yeah, I mean, it's bringing back memories of that Scottish Cup semi-final we did, what was that, last April, 3-3. Here comes Celtic once more into the 6-yard box. Rubezic sticks out a leg and knocks it half clear, comes to Engels at the edge of the box. Now Bailly, back to McGregor, behind him though. McGregor out to Johnston, right-hand side. Aberdeen with just about everyone back once more, as Kuhn tries a little flick inside the penalty area, and it's behind for another corner, as the Celtic crowd once again rise as one, urging their team on here, looking to go back in front. Mackenzie's gone down inside
Malloy's
the penalty area, and so is Malloy. A bit of cramp certainly for Malloy by the looks of it. Mackenzie might need some treatment here, and you can understand Aberdeen just want to slow this down just at the moment, with Celtic looking to try and take advantage. Mackenzie's back on his feet though, and so too is Malloy, ready to defend this corner. 15 to play plus stoppage time as Engels lines up the corner kick from the right hand side. 2-2 stands. Aberdeen thought they were in front, but a Duke handball meant the goal was disallowed. Rubezic sends the corner behind for yet another corner right hand side. He's defended well for the most part, Rubezic. Commanding.
Yeah, and he's made good decisions, which is sometimes not normal for him.
Yeah, you could definitely say he was guilty of that in his first season. Engels swings it in, the outswinger, and it was Ida who got the final header, I think, at the edge of the 6-yard box, just coming away from goal, but he missed the target, sending it just wide of the near post there, Adam Ida.
Yeah, just coming off from a sort of picked up a position at the back post and just coming across the goal, and just had to sort of almost adjust himself. I'll tell you, I wasn't far away. I think it was probably about a foot by the left-hand post when he's got his header in.
There is a bit of treatment going on.
I think it's Malloy again that's gone down. That obviously is a huge game for that young man, coming over from League of Ireland, from Shelburne, to come into the Aberdeen team and playing such these big fixtures, these big games. Nervous tension also.
It's Mackenzie actually who's getting the treatment. Yeah, Malloy's loitering around the area as well, but both of them had gone down just a bit before that couple of corners we had there. But, Mackenzie's had some treatment. He'll have to go off, having had that treatment, much to his annoyance, but those are the rules. So just over 13 to play, and here comes the latest Celtic change, and it's Luke McCowan who's going to come on, and he's going to replace Arne Engels in the middle of the park. Big moment for Luke McCowan.
Yeah, it's a similar type of player, maybe not as big and as strong, but certainly can play in that sort of can almost midfield, right side of midfield, higher up the pitch.
Aberdeen goal kick then, 13 to play. 2-2 stands as Trusty gets his head to the ball. In comes Nielsen to win the header, then Trusty repels that once more. Rubezic gets his head to the ball, so too does Kuhn. It's just at the edge of the Aberdeen penalty area. Rubezic lets it bounce this time, then heads it clear. Bernardo nods it back to Baye, then Scales put under pressure by Sockler, who's putting himself about well. Then slides Devlin to knock it up towards Kasper Schmeichel's penalty area, and out comes the Dane, who'd only conceded 1 goal in the league prior to today. Hibs have now gone ahead with Dwight Gale's first goal in Hibs colours. 2-1 the visitors lead at Tannadice, as Liam Scales has it in the centre circle. Out to Baye now, he slips again. That's about 3 or 4 times he slipped, and unfortunately for him, Shane Morris wasn't close enough to take advantage, but I think he's got to look at the type of footwear he's wearing. Now it's Forrest, left hand side up against Devlin, it's behind McGregor. McGrath gets in, he was barged there by McCowan at the edge of the box, and Celtic annoyed, but it was an obvious infringement, and free kick goes Aberdeen's way. 12 minutes to play, Celtic 2, Aberdeen 2.
Yeah, just going back to footwear, you're never sure what players wear nowadays. Nowadays it was always metal studs. When you went out on grass, you had a almost, you could wore big, long ones or short ones depending on it. Now they have a whole mixture of and he slipped for the big chance that Keskin had over on the right hand side. He slipped there again, and that is vital when you come to these games. Any little mistake.
Kuhn lifting it forwards, looking for Ida, but too much on it, as Charlie Telfer becomes the second Ross County player to be sent off this afternoon, down to 9 men against St Johnstone, and they trail by 2-0. Looks like they're heading for defeat. Here's McCowan at the edge of the box, moves away from Malloy, left hand side, tries to get it across goal. Devlin with a good block, much like the one he put in the latter stages against Portugal in his Scotland debut during the week. And he's forced a corner here. Luke McCowan on the left hand side to be taken by Paulo Bernardo. Just over 10 to play plus stoppage time. 2-2 it stands. Game on a knife edge, but Bernardo looking to put Celtic back in front here as he swings it in. It was Scales got his head to it, over the top, goal kick to Aberdeen. And just thinking, Paggy, you think Willie Miller will have enjoyed this second half at Open All Mics?
Absolutely, see a big smile on his face over there. But there's a nervousness about him also. He just put the thumb up to me. He's very happy that Aberdeen have clawed their way back into this game and really taken the times to Celtic.
Nielsen's down, getting his legs stretched off, a bit of cramp now as well, and now the physios are being called on as well. I think Celtic probably, and the crowd certainly feel this is a bit of a time wasting going on. Well, I said at the start, Packy, they didn't come here, to sit in or look for a point, but I mean, absolutely, with 10 minutes to play, you can understand that they would want to be using these kind of tactics in search of a point, because it would be a massive result for them, having been 2-0 down.
Are you saying it's tactics, or is it genuine? Listen, players have gone out there, they've put a lot of work into the game, and some of it might be tactics, but certainly I think the referee would be on top of that if he's seen what's going on. So yeah. But he's made a lot of changes. I'm not sure if he's got any subs left. I think
they've got a couple left, to use. I think Palaversa would be the obvious choice, who came on and scored the winner up at Pittodrie against Hearts last time out. If Nielsen couldn't manage to continue, there is a bit of activity in the Aberdeen dugout actually, as Nielsen limps off.
Yeah, he's one of those players. He sits in the middle of the pitch, but he's always on the move. He's checking across, killing spaces, doing all of that, and then he'll drop into the centre half position when needed. But a critical player for Aberdeen in front of that sort of back four.
Rubezic sends it high up in the air, looking for Morris, beaten in the air though by Baye. Rubezic gets in front of Ida, but it's picked up by McGregor in the middle of the park. 8.5 minutes for one of these sides to find a winner. Good challenge by McGrath, and it sets Sockler off and running up towards the edge of the penalty area. Duke's with him, they get in each other's way. Duke eventually takes over and keeps possession, but the chance is gone for now. Bernardo putting Duke under pressure. The two Portuguese form players there, and eventually Bernardo comes out on top.
I don't know what Duke was doing there. He actually got in Solskjaer's way. It was a great opportunity. They had just nicked the ball. Jim McGrath doing brilliantly in the middle of the pitch up against Callum McGregor, and they broke forward, but he just almost had to run away and create an angle, but he ran almost in to Schockler.
Yeah, still 2-2 then, 82 on the clock as Aberdeen still ponder that change as Nielsen's back on the pitch for now. Out it goes to Kuhn on the right hand side for Celtic. It is Palaversa who's stripped and ready to come on any moment now, but Scales has it, former Aberdeen loanee. Helped make them the player he's become for Celtic. Here's Forrest, right hand side. Oh, he got that all wrong, James Forrest. Just looking to curl it in at the back post there, but it came off the outside of the right boot instead and flew well wide. And it remains with just over 7 minutes to play. Yeah. As Nielsen is replaced by Palaversa. Celtic 2, Aberdeen 2.
Yeah, perfectly described there, that chance for Forrest. And that was a good ball from Skids. He could easily have passed a simple ball, but he passed it wide to Forrest, and then that allowed Baye then to run out the outside of him and take players away from that inside position. And when he came in on the inside, the space opened up, but he got a shot all wrong. But this, they're making the change here, so I don't think he was cheating, or what was the word?
I certainly didn't say he was cheating, Packy. I just said there was some tactics going on from Aberdeen.
That's the word you used, sorry.
To run the clock down. But I mean, teams are entitled to do that.
Of course.
Especially when they're in the position Aberdeen are in. So Nielsen, I don't think he's necessarily endeared himself to the home crowd here, but he's done a good job for the visitors, and he's replaced by Palaversa.
Yeah, he's done the job that's expected of him. That's why he was brought here, and he's done it perfectly. And yes, listen, he's got booked, and maybe that's another reason to take him off. Just you don't want to go down to 10 men, and you're in the last sort of guy. And you know what Celtic are like; they can always, sting you right at the end.
Well, they will keep going till the very end, that's for sure, in search of the winning goal. It's Aberdeen coming forward just at the moment. They've won themselves a throw-in over on the far side, midway inside the Celtic half on the left, to be taken by McKenzie. Just over 5 left of the 90 minutes. There'll be a decent chunk of stoppage time, you would imagine, as it's back with Malloy, and now Rubezic back midway inside his own half. Rubezic back to Malloy, central defensive partner, and then all the way back to Dimitar Mitov, who'll be closed down by Aramida, but he fires it out to the right hand side looking for Morris. Baye tries to take it down the chest, he does well. Good skill from the young Catalan, then plays it to Scales and back to Schmeichel. Schmeichel takes a touch and plays it out to Trusty. The Celtic fans desperate for their 100% record to be maintained, but they'll need to find another goal in these closing stages for that to happen. Baye just caught slightly as he played the ball down the left hand side. Good touch from Forrest, just manages to keep it from Nicky Devlin. Baye up in support there. Forrest once more left hand side, jinking away from Morris. Luke McCowan just trying to get beyond. Rubezic couldn't manage to do so, and Shinnie finds McGrath. Now Aberdeen will try and counter again. They've got good pace here as Duke motors forward. Johnston makes the challenge, but it comes to Morris. Morris takes a touch, goes for goal, blocked by Trusty, and behind there's going to be a goal kick. It came off Morris last, and Celtic take the goal kick quickly. That was another chance, Packy.
Yeah, another chance on the counter-attack. The players has come on, the two fresh players almost combining, but good, decent defensive, but Celtic were stretched again, trying to go for the one by pushing players for the forward and leaving themselves open at the back.
Here's McCowan, right hand side for Celtic, into the penalty area he goes, away from McGrath, cuts it back, comes to Forrest, saved by Mitov and hacked away by Devlin. Well, it was straight at the keeper, but he still had to show good reactions to push it away from goal as James Forrest came so close to perhaps a winner. Still Celtic 2, Aberdeen 2.
Yeah, I thought if he just stepped over it, actually, I think Bernardo might have been behind him, and he was in a better position coming onto the ball. Forrest had to turn and hit a ball, but it was straight at the goalkeeper who made the save.
Here's McGregor for Celtic, midway inside the Aberdeen half. 3.5 of the 90 left to play. Forrest picks up, still looking for his first goal of the season. Baye's in the 6-yard box, and Rubezic slices it back into his own goalkeeper's hands as he tried to clear. All that could have ended up anywhere, but fortunately for him, right into the arms of Mitov. And it's still Celtic 2, Aberdeen 2.
What a game we've had on our hands here at Celtic Park, going from end to end at times. Rubezic didn't know what was going on there. He can almost lost by. He didn't even go to him, and then it comes off him and it goes straight into the goalkeeper's hands.
Hearts have got third goal through James Wilson against St Mirren. Brilliant start to Neil Critchley's tenure at Tynecastle, as Shayden Morris has taken a dunt there as he and Alex Baye challenged for the ball as it was just about to drift out of play, and Morris was bundled down off the pitch and down the little gully there that separates the pitch and the supporters, and a little bit of concern there for Shayden Morris, just perhaps landed kind of heavily into the little wall in front of the front row of the fans there, and he's back up.
I think he'd be all right. I think he'd be okay. I think he slid into it. I don't think he'll be okay. He's just.
And Nick Walsh wants a word with someone from the Aberdeen dugout here. I'm not sure. I think there was a few people upset by the way that Morris was bundled into there, and now Nick Walsh he's trying to explain to Jimmy Tilleen who he wants to speak to. Well, what's going to happen is that Jimmy Tilleen has been shown a yellow card, not because of anything he did, but ultimately I don't think they could identify who it was that Nick Walsh was unhappy with, so it's shown to Tilleen as the senior figure in the dugout.
Yeah, well, I think he went to him and asked him to ask the player to come in. He didn't do it. Maybe that's why he got booked, but I'm not sure if you can get booked for somebody else doing something.
Yeah, well, the manager can these days. Yeah, well, that's what happens. Anyway, not usually for a player. I'm not sure who exactly he was pointing at, but usually it would be for another member of the coaching staff. But anyhow, back underway, just over a minute of the 90 left. 2-2 stands between the champions and league leaders and Aberdeen, who are right on their coattails at the top of the table. A good challenge there from Morris on Forrest to knock it behind, though, for a corner. Into the final minute we go. There'll be, I would say, 5 or 6 minutes of stoppage time to come. Celtic looking at the moment for the winning goal, if they can find it here. Bernardo from the left-hand side with this corner kick. Aberdeen with absolutely everyone back inside the penalty area as Bernardo sends it into the back post. Rising was trusty, but he couldn't keep it down. And it's going to be a goal kick. Celtic thought it was going to be another corner, but Trusty sending it over the top. And so as we head very much towards injury time here, it's still 2-2.
Yeah, Trusty coming in, obviously had a bit of pace on his run up and jumps really high, just couldn't get above the ball, but the goalkeeper's come, tried to punch it, and he got there first, but just heads it well over the crossbar.
Goal kick then taken by Dimitar Mitov, well over the halfway line. Up goes Sopler, but he's beaten in the air by Scales. Aberdeen pick up once more, but Baye launches it forward. My goodness, 10 minutes of stoppage time to be played. Wow, that's incredible. Don't see that very often. And that's got the crowd on their feet, because they feel that gives them the time they require to get the winning goal. But yeah, there have been a number of stoppages in the game, a bit of time wasting perhaps, but didn't expect to see double digits, I have to say. Celtic have got themselves a free kick midway inside their own half. It's quickly taken by McGregor to Trusty. Celtic certainly not settling for the point right here, as Kuhn has it on the right hand side. Back to McGregor, 10 yards inside the Aberdeen half. Scales, can Aberdeen hold on for a point? Baye just sees that out for a throw in this near side. Midway inside the Aberdeen half, back the way it goes to Scales. There'll be a few tired bodies and minds out there, particularly in red jerseys perhaps, as they've done more of the work without the ball. But here's Kuhn, right hand side, looking to face them up. Back to McGregor. McGregor takes a shot, it's blocked inside the penalty area, and here comes Duke on the counter. Celtic trying to get bodies back. He's up against Trusty for the moment. Trusty just stretches the long legs and knocks it back to Schmeichel. Does really well there in the end, and then Schmeichel lifts it back over Duke and finds Trusty. 90 seconds played of the 10 minutes added on. Here's Kuhn trying to lift it forward, but Malloy in the way. Comes only to Johnston though. Up to Ida at the edge of the box. Back to Johnston. Johnston into the area. Here's Forrest. Forrest about 8 yards from goal. Can he get the shot off? Just wide. Just wide from James Forrest on the left foot, all the way across goal. Bernardo was trying to get there as well, but the shot dragged about a yard wide in the end from James Forrest, and it remains 2 minutes into stoppage time. Celtic 2, Aberdeen 2.
Yeah, it's an incredible finish again, and the ball comes to Forrest. He actually does it. He's looking for somebody maybe to give him a little angle that he can lay it off. He's up against the defender. He touches it with both feet, and then eventually comes to his left, and he can almost hits it across the goalkeeper to that back post, but it's the wrong side of the post, and Aberdeen off the hook.
Wrong side as far as Celtic are concerned, certainly. Not so much for those of an Aberdeen persuasion. Joe Newell, incidentally, the Hibs captain's been sent off at Tannadice. They do lead by 2-1, but on his comeback after, I think, a double hernia operation, if I remember rightly, but he's been shown the red card late on in that one. 2-2 here then, with 7 minutes of stoppage time still to play. Alistair Johnston bringing it forward for Celtic, down the right hand side to Kuhn. Kuhn slides it back to Johnson, into the area he comes off Malloy, and then off another Aberdeen player and behind for another Celtic corner. We do know, Packy, that they're famous for the late goals they score. They just keep going.
Yeah, they're hanging in Aberdeen at the moment, and just had a corner there, and
yeah, Kuhn's made a bit of a mess of it, but he's won it back from Morris. Now he's up against McKenzie. He's gone past him, and then the ricochet into the penalty area. Ina Dockson, it's not going to stand. It's not going to stand. Nick Walsh immediately inside that 6-yard box to say that there was an infringement as Ida went up and nodded the ball into the net.
Yeah, I would be looking for a free kick there, I must admit. One player's going for the ball, the other player's taking the goalkeeper out of it. So I would be, if I was the goalkeeper, I'd be looking, obviously from Celtic's perspective, I just ricocheted right up into the air, almost under the crossbar. So the referee is probably made the right decision there. I'm not sure if Woolley would be I'm sure he'd be saying the same thing anyway.
Yeah, VAR have backed up Nick Walsh's decision that there was an infringement there on the goalkeeper, I think, as the ball, it's an incredible ricochet actually. It was an attempted clearance blocked by Kuhn, and it just spooned up in the air from outside the penalty area and right on top of Mitov. And I think it was both Johnston and Ida were in there. Ida got his head to the ball to knock it over the line. Perhaps Johnston was the player who was fouling Mitov.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Ultimately, Nick Walsh was, quite adamant immediately that it wasn't going to stand, and Greg Aitken, the VAR, has looked at it again and backed up Nick Walsh's reading of the situation.
Go back 20 years ago, Al, and would have been given.
Absolutely. 5 minutes of the 10 added on have been played. We might even get a bit more after that latest stoppage. So it's 4-0 Hearts now.
Wow, what a start for him.
That's tremendous.
Offside. Oh, he's not offside.
Sockler now could be in behind as Baye tries to get back, and then he makes the interception. The offside flag is up against Sockler, who
just
fouls Baye in the end. But again, Celtic taking a chance at the back. The free kick goes their way.
Yeah, he was just maybe offside. I thought Baye at one point played him on. He was deep, and Sockler he made up for it by to get back and get the tackle and the interception. And
forward comes Celtic. Kuhn is behind Johnston, but Bernardo picks up at the edge of the box. Back to Kuhn, just outside the box. Now here's Baye. The edge of the box moves away from one. His shot's blocked. Aberdeen putting bodies on the line here as Morris helps keep it in for Ida. That wasn't quite what he intended. Ida back to Baye, into the edge of the box to Forrest. Now Scales, 25 yards from goal. McGregor helps it on to Trusty. Aberdeen desperately trying to keep Celtic out here. It's out to Johnson on the right hand side. 4 minutes left as McGregor has it. Scales, and now Baye once more out to Forrest, left hand side of the penalty area. Jinks inside Nicky Devlin. Scales now for Baye, left hand side. Can he get it into the box? Closed down by Morris, who then just swipes it out of play. Throwing quickly taken by Baye into Bernardo. Back to Scales. Midway inside the Aberdeen half, square for Trusty. Trusty out to Kuhn. Angle of the box on the right hand side this time. Up against Duke. Johnston goes outside of him. Johnston across. Oh, how did that stay out? Brilliant touch from Mitov to just take it away from Bernardo, who thought he had a tap in as it came right across the goal. Here's Forrest now, goes for goal, off target. Still somehow Celtic 2, Aberdeen 2.
Well, we've had everything in this game. a ball across the goal, and it was just that reflex, I think, hand from Mitov just to deflect the ball away from goal. When it looked to me if it was actually in the back of the net, came off him in the back of the net, but he got enough on it to take it past the right hand post. Celtic trying to get that third goal, but Aberdeen hanging in there.
Barely got time to catch a breath to tell you that it's finished Motherwell 0, Dundee 1. St Johnstone got a third just before full time. Mackenzie Kirk making it 3-0 there. And I think you're up to date with the rest of them. Hearts 4 up. I think I told you about that one. I can't actually remember. Blair Spittle got that one if I didn't. Anyway, it's 2-2 here with a couple of minutes of injury time still to play. Celtic still in the attack. It's Baye. His cross is blocked by Devlin. It's quite an incredible almost 100 minutes we've had here at Celtic Park. As Packy says, it's had just about everything. Has it got a winning goal? That's the ultimate question. As Johnston now has it once more, right hand side, comes off the back of Duke, behind for another Celtic corner over on the right hand side. Corner kicks quickly taken by Johnston to Kuhn. Kuhn back to McGregor. McGregor plays it square for Baye. Baye 25 yards from goal, plays it to Forrest. Forrest back to Baye. Out to the left hand side now for Trusty, who's playing as a left winger for the moment. Baye once more. Celtic looking to just find the space. McCowan gets it back to Baye on the right foot. He didn't fancy the shot. Bernardo tries to feed it into the penalty area. Was there a nudge there? Ida's trying to find room for a shot. Nick Walsh didn't see a foul Aberdeen were claiming for, and it's cleared up to the halfway line, but Aberdeen just standing their ground at the edge of the penalty area. Johnston now right hand side, 90 seconds to play. Liam Scales 35 yards from goal. Baye gets it back to him, closed down by Sockler. Now back with Baye, about 15 yards inside the Aberdeen half. It's McGregor picking up. Can he find the answer here to the solution to Celtic's issue, which is, can they find the winning goal? It's McCowan who goes for goal. Rubišić again puts his head on the line to knock it clear. As a Celtic body down at the edge of the box, but Scales continues. It's McGregor now, 25 from goal. Luke McCowan takes the ball.
Oh, it's going to be a penalty.
He's given a penalty, I think. Oh, is it right on the edge of the box? Oh, he's given it right on the edge of the box.
Wow.
Well, that was so close. Still a big chance for Celtic right on the edge. But VAR will take a look at it as well. But the initial decision from Nick Walsh is free kick right on the edge.
Wow, it couldn't be any closer if that's where he's put his mark. Almost a couple of inches outside the 18-yard box. He ends up well inside the box when he goes down. But this will be really interesting. Obviously, VAR will check it from that perspective. But what a moment right at the end of this game.
Yeah, well, Luke McCowan kind of just turned in between two Aberdeen players, and the VAR has confirmed the challenge was made outside the penalty area.
Oh, it's right on the line. I'll tell you, it couldn't be any closer. Big decision by Nick Walsh. A very good decision,
well,
you've got to say.
To get
and VAR
right,
obviously picking up on it and helping it out. But it is a moment for Celtic also. This is very, very difficult for the goalkeeper. He's putting up a big wall. There's about 5-6 players. He's got to try to see it. Can Celtic get it up and down or round the wall? Last kick of the game.
It's got to be the last kick of the game. 101st minute here, and Celtic have this free kick right on the edge of the penalty area. It's left of centre, just on the point where the arc meets the penalty area. Bernardo's over it, Ida's over it, McGregor's over it, Kuhn is over it.
Well, the goalkeeper's got to stand up. Sorry, Al. The goalkeeper's got to defend his side. Never mind the other side. Let the wall try to do his job. If it's played in there, not a hope from that distance. But he's got to stand up strong, keep his eye on the ball.
Nudge to Ida. Ida goes for goal, takes a big deflection and loops over the top of the crossbar. It will be a corner kick. Is there time for that to be taken? We've played 101 plus minutes here as Aberdeen have got the corner kick to defend. Now or never for Celtic. Left hand side, Bernardo poised over the corner kick. Left hand side, swings it in towards the back post. Oh, what a save from Mitov! Unbelievable save to keep it out. Still it's not dead though. Comes to Forrest across the 6-yard box, off the line again. Still they can't get it clear. That is unbelievable. Aberdeen putting bodies on the line, and there's a penalty check going on potentially, I suppose, it could have been a handball on the line there as Celtic thought they had the winning goal. Mitov first producing the save, and then another Aberdeen body. Was it Duke again?
It was Duke on the line. The goalkeeper made an unbelievable possible penalty check at this point. Did Duke handball it on the line? That's the question. But what a save from the goalkeeper initially. Incredible save. And then the ball comes to I'm not sure of who actually struck the shot from Celtic's perspective, but then again a block on the line, and this is where it's going to be checked. Is it going to be a penalty or not?
Well, the answer to that is no, it is not going to be a penalty, and it is all over at Celtic Park. This has been one of the most sensational games, absolutely living up to its billing of the biggest game of the Premiership season so far, and Aberdeen coming from 2 goals down to earn a point at Celtic Park for the first time since March 2019. Who would have bet on this at half-time? Celtic 2 goals to the good through Hatate and Kyogo. The changes were made at the interval by Jimmy Tillene, and Esther Sockler, one of the players who came on, was played in within 5 minutes of coming on to slot past Kasper Schmeichel, and then it was 2-2 just after the hour mark. A minor mistake. It eventually came to Shinnie, who leathered it towards goal. A big deflection, took it past Schmeichel. Aberdeen thought they were in front as Duke knocked it into the net on 70 minutes. That was chopped off for handball. Into 10 minutes of stoppage time, Celtic throwing absolutely everything at it in search of the winner. James Forrest had a shot saved, and another one just saved. Alistair Johnston played one across the goals that Mitov got a touch to take it away from Bernardo, and then in the final moments there, McCowan went down on the very edge of the box. Celtic thought they had a penalty. The free kick was blocked away, but then another couple of chances in 111 minutes as Mitov produced an absolutely incredible save to keep one final effort out, as then Duke saved one on the line. That was checked for a handball, but it wasn't. It came off his knee, and so an incredible 112 minutes come to a conclusion here at Celtic Park with the final scoreline. Do not miss this on Sports Scene tonight at 7:15. I'm going back to watch it again. Celtic 2, Aberdeen 2.